Yeah, we always go live before Reek shows up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tradition.
It's tradition that I have to go live and then talk shit about Reek, how Reek isn't here for him to actually show up. He can't show up otherwise.
It's every time. I mean, that's what happened last week when you guys did a show and I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Except you like fully started the show. And then he showed up.
Well.
And then I made a cameo like 45 minutes later. I mainly rewatched it to be like, what exactly did I say?
That you didn't expect to spit or swallow?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to like pop in and say, what's up? And then you like asked me questions. I was like, I am in no state of mind to be doing this right now.
See?
Nailed it.
It's like magic.
Are you on it? There you go.
What you talking about?
Nothing.
I went live and Rick's like, or Will's like, you're going live, and I'm like, it's tradition. I have to go live and then talk shit about how Reek's not here, otherwise he won't show up.
Well, I mean, I gotta live the gimmick, right?
You do, absolutely.
Yeah. It's on brand.
Where are we at? Search.
Getting off.
Yeah, that is where we're at.
Twitch, YouTube, Twitter.
All of them.
All the places.
Hi guys, how are you? Hi Allison in the chat, and also 5 feet away from the person I'm talking to, directly above me.
Hello, Mateo. That was my old impression.
Yeah. Well, did you get a you get a trim?
Yeah, dude, I got my lines. My shit faded up and got my lines done.
Okay.
I did all my undercarriage, but I kept everything on the beard. But like, she cut almost 3 inches off the top, and then it's a skin fade all the way down on the sides. We cut like a shit ton of hair off.
Okay, I dig it.
Yeah.
Matt, I it's not as noticeable because it's like, you know,
Rude.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Will's got the long beard. Your ears doesn't grow out that much. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to. I'm working on just growing this part out. Actually, I cut it, and I went to pick Zoe up from daycare that day, and she goes, "Daddy, did you trim your beard?" I'm like, "Yeah." What do you think? She goes, "It looks terrible," and I'm like, "Damn." And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, I like it with more hair," and I was like, "Okay."
That way she can just yank on it.
Yeah, she not so much anymore. Now she likes to tug on my necklaces, and I have to yell at her for that. She's constantly grabbing and pulling on them and fucking with them.
Of course.
She used to pull the beard though.
That's funny.
When it was long and bushy. What's the difference between a gynecologist and a genealogist?
Oh, here we go. I can't wait to hear this shit.
You got
No idea.
A genealogist looks up your family tree. A gynecologist looks up the family bush.
Bazinga.
Okay. Yeah.
And on that note, we'll start the show.
You sent a tweet out?
Yeah, I sent the tweet out.
Okay.
Did I not tag you in it?
No. I see it now. I just didn't look.
Okay. In 3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, finally the Wreck hath come back to host the Getting Off. You see, I showed up earlier tonight on a show called Bot Spots and Cum Shots, and while I was there, the people on the show, minus my bestie Katie, as well as the people in the chat, overwhelmingly requested the Rack to host tonight's episode of Getting Off. So I am here with some of my favorite people. There is a core four, apparently, that idiot Matt Ritter's not here, just could not make it, but we do have, actually, you know what? Sexy Milk Dud, would you like to introduce her? Because you interrupted Matt Ritter the last time. He tried.
Oh, God.
Well, see, that's when we're doing the wrestling podcast. So since we're doing Getting Off, I think, Rack can.
So you don't want to be her advocate any other time than with wrestling? That you disown her all other moments of her life?
I don't disown her.
Well, then maybe you should introduce her.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Getting Off proudly presents to you the host of the She Lee Showcase, the hardest working woman in podcast today, the sun around which all other podcasts must orbit, the Katie Kinsey Baby.
Just for the record, I didn't want the Rack here.
Listen, Bestie, you were number one. You were the first one. You had your hand up. You were like, I love the Rack.
No.
I want the Rack. I need the Rack. Gimme.
No.
Also, on the Rack train is a host of the Botch Spots and the Chair Shots. He also runs this thing called Rivet City Radio, where they play the music from that show with the girl who was in a vault for a long time and then came out to find her dad after nuclear exposure. I don't know what the fuck they call it. Anyway, it is the Will Gray.
Hi, Rack. Hi, Reek. Hi, Katie. Long time.
I know.
Oh, that's cute. Rack and Reek. We could
Rack
be a
and Reek.
tag team.
Oh,
It's
boy.
like the
Y'all
best.
found that.
The best tag teams.
Mhm.
There we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, last but certainly not least, he is 1/3 of Young Kings Wrestling. He is very much like this Almond Joy. Chocolate on the outside with a nice white filling and delicious nuts. He is the only BBC with a PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, Wreak Havoc.
Oh, okay. He didn't actually say the name. Okay. That's cool.
Well, I don't do what that idiot Matt Ritter does. This is not how we handle it here.
Okay, I got you.
Yes, Off the Top Media, we were just here, just on a different channel and a different show and a different subject. But yes, we were just here.
Yes and no.
Yes and no what?
No, nothing.
Sorry, dude. Put that food in.
How is everybody? Did you all enjoy the movies that you guys watched with Rob Zombie and his wife, who may or may not should be in these movies, depending on how you feel about her acting?
It's terrible, but they're interesting.
I don't want to give away too much. I told you guys earlier in the week, I was like, I could probably just talk about the first two movies without needing to rewatch them. Rewatching the third movie changed my opinion on almost the whole series.
Wow.
Okay, interesting. Katie, this was your first time experiencing House of 1,000 Buttholes, the Devil's Anus, and all three holes. So, how did you feel?
I hate you. I don't know. These, I see why people like them, and I see why people don't like them. I'll leave it at that.
But how did you like them? That is, we don't care about other people.
Speak for yourself.
Well, they were okay. I kind of liked them. I kind of hated them.
Okay, understandable. Let us start, ladies and gentlemen, with the very first movie in the trilogy, House of 1,000 Buttholes.
No.
Corpses? Is that what?
Corpses, yes.
Listen, the Rack's not into necrophilia. That's not what the Rack likes to do. But anyway, they are, though. We'll talk about it. So, I guess we'll start with the most handsome to the least handsome. So, Wreak Havoc, Swallow?
Actually, yeah. I'm gonna go Swallow on this one because it's
You could have just stopped it. Yeah, it was a question about whether you do or don't. Thank you for answering.
okay.
I can't with you.
Wreak Havoc, spit or swallow.
I said swallow. I said swallow.
No, like give me something from the like pretend like you have been here and you know what we are doing. Give me
Well,
something from the movie.
I was getting ready to say
you
something.
enjoy.
You was like, you could have just stopped at swallow.
Well, the first question was swallow yes or no, and you answered yes. Then we could have stopped there. Now the second question is, what about the movies? Did you?
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you.
Yeah, no. It's my preference out of the three because once we leave from this movie, we just go into some different territory altogether. But for those who know me, I'm a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, OG, and it's a combination of that plus a Rob Zombie music video, the way it's shot. So the themes are they're relevant enough. So it kind of got me like, okay, all right, I can stick with this one. Once we get away from this, we start kind of Hatfields and McCoys a little bit, but the vibe was there. It's not for everybody because he goes over the top with the extreme shit, but I mean, everybody's different when it comes to their horror. So
okay, fair enough. I guess we'll just do it overall for everybody. Will spit or swallow House of a Thousand Corpses in general?
I 1000% swallow House of a Thousand Corpses. You want me to go through my list now? Is that what we're doing?
No.
Oh, just in general, this movie.
Yeah, just in general. There we go. Katie, you know what to do.
I will swallow a House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay. The Rack will as well. I guess I will start off. Listen, a movie that opens up with a man talking about having a Dr. Zayas action figure shoved halfway up his asshole is everything that the Rack needs, wants, and desires from a movie. Also, something that the Rack has done. The Captain Spaulding, who I am representing here on my shirt, says, fuck your mama, fuck your sister, fuck your grandma, and most of all, fuck you. Have done that once or twice in my lifetime. And also, goddamn motherfucker got blood all over my best clown suit. Been there, done that as well. So, like, the quotes in the movies, that whole opening scene with Captain Spaulding, the Rack loves fried chicken. So, like, that's a plus. Like, fried chicken and horror. Like, what more could you ask for? So, a big swallow on the opening scene of House of a Thousand Corpses. Reek, spit or swallow?
Yeah. The tour that they go through and going through all the different killers throughout time. There was one of them. Ed Gein is in there.
Yep.
Lizzie Borden, all this other stuff. Like, get interactive. Okay, I was down with that. Again, the table, the dinner scene, kind of reminiscent of the OG Texas Chainsaw, where everyone's sitting together, and it's not as I don't think they're eating people in there, but who the fuck knows? Because what's his name put on the chick's dad's skin, came down as a costume. That last scene where well, not the last scene, but they actually had Dr. Satan down there, and whatever the dude was in the suit, I don't know who the hell he was, but I was actually kind of bummed out he went out like that, but those were definitely dope.
All right. The Will Gray, spit or swallow?
I was trying to debate. One, I want to follow Recap. I also swallowed the Museum of Monsters and Madmen. One, I think that's a dope ass name, and two, it'll follow into my first swallow, which is Sid Haig, and I think he needs to be given his roses as a horror icon at this point. Not just in this movie, but some of his other work. I feel like he's that anchor in this first movie that makes it good. So that way in number 2, you get a great movie, and then they give him his roses in the third, and he's there, but he's not there. So we'll kind of talk about it as it goes. But my first big swallow, Sid Haig, horror icon.
Okay. Miss Katie Kinsey Bay. Spit or swallow?
I'm just gonna start with a general spit. Just in life and in movies, don't pick up hitchhikers, people. For the love of God, it doesn't end well for anybody involved, ever. Don't pick up hitchhikers because they're probably crazy people. And the 2 movies that I have seen recently-ish, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which yay, and this, crazy bitches. Don't do it. Just don't pick up hitchhikers. Leave them in the rain. That's all I gotta say about that.
Okay. Let's see. What does the rack have? What does Matt Ritter have? Because he took these notes and they suck. No, I also have a spit here for picking up sexy hitchhikers in the rain. Always a bad idea. The sexier, the worse the idea. Every single time. You know what? The rack is gonna spit Jerry in general. All right, so like, yes, we love Chris Hardwick because of Walking Dead and the post shows and everything. But listen, dumb white friends you don't go on road trips with. This man forgot to fill up the gas tank, left the spare tire behind while doing so. It's the whole reason everything got fucked up. And then he is the asshole that's like, let's go see Dr. Satan's tree. Let's go. But like, why the fuck you need to go see a tree?
Yeah.
Here on Getting Off, the only trees we fuck with are the ones we can smoke, right, Will?
Right on.
Yeah, I'm high as shit.
There we go.
I'm trying to get my cough under control because I hit the gravity like while Reek was going, and then I didn't realize I was gonna have to go next. So I've been like holding it in.
As well, the rack also has Captain Spaulding in general. And on that note, something I would like to share with y'all is that idiot Matt Ritter, real quick. So we are going to do this, and then we're going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Look how stupid he looks. Look at how stupid he looks.
You know, is that who I think it is?
That is your new boyfriend. That is correct.
Oh, that's my best friend, John.
That is correct. That is correct.
You know, but the accuracy on the makeup is pretty dope, though.
You can give all of the credit to Matt's wife, Kate, for that, not Matt Ritter. He had nothing to do with that. So,
is she also a fan of the movies?
I wouldn't say a fan. She is not opposed to watching them. She probably falls in the same category as Miss Katie Kinsey Bebe. Doesn't love him, doesn't hate him. Wreak havoc, spit or swallow.
All right, so I'm pretty sure we can all be on the same page about this. It's not so much the acting, because her acting's bad, but it's tolerable. It's that laugh. The laugh is like that is a mega spit. I can't with the.
Did he unplug his mic?
I have no idea what you did, Reek, but apparently along with her laugh was you speaking, because the StreamYard said, fuck this.
You hear me now?
Yes. We can.
Okay.
What did you do?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the laugh, mega spit. But I am gonna swallow the fish boy thing, because it was when we did trivia, it was the first thing I remembered right away. So I was actually pretty excited to rewatch this movie. But yeah, that definitely swallowing. I feel like it's wrong to swallow Otis, but it's like as a character, like it's one of those that he's so odd and off and just fucked up, but in character, it's like okay, you know, it's if you're gonna make one of the worst possible, you know, serial killers in one of your movies, it's like you want him to have some kind of like seem like he's a genius. He's got all this rhetoric that, you know, he's political about and stuff like that. Oh, okay, that's different. So I don't know. I'll gargle Otis. Put it that way.
Listen, with that kind of line of logic, I would not be surprised to see you in a MAGA hat very soon.
I actually, considering when I signed in, I changed my headline to say Otis over everyone, because again, after rewatching the third movie, the story arc, my notes for the third movie are a lot more intricate because I just watched it again today. Like, they almost in that third movie make you feel like you're rooting for Otis. And when we get there, I'll explain what I'm talking about. But they make Baby and Otis, after all the crazy bullshit they've been through, you realize in that third movie, they're family and they're human. Even if what they want to do is to do fucked up shit, that's what makes them feel good. And if you look at it from the fact that beyond just the fucked up shit, like, they're searching for the same thing everybody is, like, what makes you happy as a person, what makes you happy as a family. And they have that moment in that third movie. So that's why I think Otis, like, he low-key may be the anchor point that everybody, it's like Captain Spaulding is Michael Scott, Otis is Jim and Dwight after Michael Scott leaves. If it wasn't for Otis, the third movie wouldn't have landed. He's that grounding point that Spaulding was in the other two movies. That's my 2 cents on it.
Okay, that is fair. Katie, or no, I'm sorry, Will. Technically, you were just following up on Wreak Havoc and what he said. So let's do this. We'll just have everyone run through their swallows, and then we'll have everyone run through their spits, and then the rack will talk about how all of the people died. I think that'll work best. So, Will, give me the rest of your swallows.
I have 2 big swallows left. One, I'm swallowing Baby. Come on, it's Sherry Moon Osborne. Even if it's like
wait.
Al,
Hold on. It is who now?
Is her name? No, Sharon? Sherry?
Sherry.
No,
What's the last?
Sharon
what's the last name?
Osbourne. Sharon
Zombie,
Osbourne is
not
one
Osborne.
person.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay,
you
just
high as
making.
hell right
I
now.
thought you watched a whole different movie than The Rack. I was like, wait a
The
minute.
Osbournes,
Ozzy
you
wasn't
know,
here?
with the British
Yeah.
dude and his kids. Is that not what
You
you
are
guys
high.
watched?
Damn.
No, I think we watched
Damn.
it. It's kind of crazy.
I
We're on a
watched
different
9
planet
seasons
right
of the
now.
Osbournes for nothing.
Not 9 seasons.
What the fuck, Matt?
Oh,
Right.
terrible.
Swallows, Baby. I think that she also won me over in the third movie. In this one, she's just crazy enough and just sexy enough to keep it interesting. She's like Lita in the Attitude Era. She wasn't great, but she was better than average and was fun to look at.
Okay.
And your second big swallow outside of Baby?
I love a good. My notes say, "I love a good, refreshing face mask. Self-care is important."
No.
Listen,
No.
Katie, relax, bestie. We will get there.
Hey.
Hold on. Reek, since we're doing this, and what else do you have on your list of swallows?
What was left? Hold on. Definitely the finish. She got, because it was kind of like, again,
I appreciate
similar-
a man who swallows the finish.
Yeah, similar to yeah, well, yeah, similar to OG Texas Chainsaw was final girl gets away seemingly, but then we pull the plug at the last minute because she's with Spaulding, and obviously that means she ain't really safe. Other than that, I think that was all I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Katie Kinsey Bay, tell us what you liked since you decided to be like, I swallowed this movie, but I'm going to start with spits.
It's the first thing I saw when I looked down. Leave me the fuck alone. A lot of things were already said. Captain Spaulding is probably my favorite thing about this movie. You guys talked about the Museum of, what is it? Madmen and something? I already forget.
Museum of
Monsters.
Monsters and Madmen.
That, yeah, I liked that. As a typical white bitch who likes true crime and shit, that was right up my alley. I loved that. The color scheme of the movie, I mean, it's very like early 2000s type shit, and I'm all about that. I mean, this was 2003, so it makes sense. And I mean, just a little underrated thing. The cereal that Tiny was eating was called Agatha Crispies. instead of Agatha Christie, and I thought that was hysterical. little humor for me, but I mean
I've
everything
never
else like
noticed that.
I it's like one of the only things I like really noticed and like looked into. But I mean, out of the three, this is my favorite. But everything else was just like it was fine.
Okay. The Rack is surprised. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. So Matt Ritter has on his list the same thing he has on every list because he's a fucking pervert.
Titties.
Boobs, titties. Yes. Also, big fan of the soundtrack. So, like, two of Matt Ritter's favorite things are Twisted Metal 3 and House of a Thousand Corpses because the soundtracks are exclusively Rob Zombie songs. And I'm a little disappointed, or he was a little disappointed, going forward that Rob Zombie didn't do all of the music in his own fucking movies. Neither here nor there. Because, I mean, the songs had clips of things from the movies in them when the full songs released. There was a song called House of a Thousand Corpses. There's a few different things used, and it's got little bits here and there from the movie in them. It plays in the background of the movie. It is fantastic. Casting. Will, you talked about it, right? You said Dwight. Dwight is in the fucking movie, ladies and gentlemen. Ray Wilson is in the movie.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Will, you love the Fallout. And I'm not just talking about when I pull out. Walter Goggins is in the movie. And then we talked about Chris Hardwick. Chubby Chris Hardwick, anyway. This was before he lost weight and shaved a beard and hosted The Walking Dead stuff. Also, how did nobody mention the fact that the liquor store was called Red Hot Pussy Liquors? Because that might be the Rack's title going forward. Like going forward, the Rack may be like Matt Ritter is the patron saint of podcasting. I may be Red Hot Pussy Liquor, the Rack.
It's everything but a liquor store with that title.
Matt Ritter is an idiot. That is who he is, Tommy. Also, we talked about Baby's wardrobe, especially in the Red Hot Pussy Liquor scene where she's got just holes in her jeans. By the way, for those of you who don't know, she stole that wardrobe from the Rack. That is exclusively what I wear in the summer. And it looks better on me. Also, the Halloween night rabbit hunting scene where they dress everybody up in rabbits. Reek talked about like, old girl had to wear her daddy's face for a little bit because Otis came down in it. They send him out to run, rabbit, run, that whole thing. And then Otis's attire for Halloween, like the long red jacket with the white and black face paint and the hair down. Creepy as fuck. Absolutely loved it. Matt Ritter used to have a Living Dead doll of that, and it was really cool looking, and he should have kept it, but he's stupid. So yes, all of those things, huge swallows from this movie. Now, Reek, tell the Rack what you did not like about this movie. What are your spits?
All right, so I already said the laugh. The weird, I don't know, the transitions that had nothing to do with the movie, where they just cut away to some random shit before they went to another scene. Like that was like I was having on a bad trip while I was watching this movie. Like it was throwing me off. And the other main one, which one is the chick that was annoying as hell the whole movie?
That would be Baby.
No. The one, it was the one girl that was with the I think it was what's his face's girlfriend.
Shit.
Well, there was Jerry, who was Chris Hardwick.
Yeah.
Was Bill, who was turned into the fish boy.
Mm-hmm.
So was it Jerry's girlfriend?
It was Jared's girlfriend. It was Jared's girlfriend.
Okay, that is Mary. She was the attractive one.
Okay.
That's kind of fucked up, but okay.
Well, was she the one? Was she the one that was always like annoyed, had the annoyed face on all day?
Well, yeah, because Baby was trying to fuck Bill the entire movie. Would you not be?
I get.
Listen, if you and the Rack went out on a road trip and some man was trying to have sex with me, would you not be annoyed, Reek?
Look, I'm not even talking about that. She had this energy of aggravation from start to finish. I get the thing where she's hitting on the guy. I get it. But it was just like from the second they showed up, she's like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to dinner." Like, all right, listen, this is some weird shit that I wouldn't even be bringing my, if I was still with somebody, I wouldn't be bringing no girl around anyway. But it's like, you got RBF the entire time. Like
Hey,
I'm
someone
not
with RBF, I take offense.
Also, that is what the rest
it's
found
not like
attractive
that
about her. Like, Katie got all offended. She's like, "Hey, that's me. Listen, we all have preferences, right? I am sure that given the choice of a room full of men, you would not just be like all the men are beautiful. You would have people in the room you found more attractive than other people. I found Mary to be more attractive than Denise. There is nothing wrong with that. I found Bill as Fishboy to be the most attractive out of everyone.
Now you're just being egregious. How dare you?
Oh man.
Okay.
I get that.
Will, what do you have for spits?
I gargled the camera work, kind of another one. Me and Reek were kind of on the same page with this one on our notes at least. I feel like the cinematography gets better in every movie. By the time we get to the third one, with the transitions and the way they shoot the movie, where the camera peels in different directions every time, but they do it in a counterclockwise so they go down and then to the right, then up and to the left. So they all transition counterclockwise. I'm like, these small editing things really they make a huge difference when you're shooting the movie. The filters to make it look like the 70s at some points versus the currently shooting like they're in the hotel room. So I gargle the transitions here because the camera work just gets better every time they make a movie. I just wrote down in my notes, being scalped for missing quiz questions. I feel like that would be a vicious thing that Al could add to Boss Bitch Trivia.
I was just going to say, this may be the new format for the Getting Off Trivia. You miss a question, you get scalped.
Because it was Baby's favorite movie star or whatever, and he couldn't guess it. And then it's a personal thing. I don't like generic endings like the end. Like everybody, if it's going to be a cliffhanger, just make it a cliffhanger. Don't make it so obvious that we go, okay, they're going to make House of a Thousand Corpses 2, which we got The Devil's Rejects. But you see my point. Like
to be fair on that point, Will, I don't believe Rob Zombie thought anyone was going to let him make another movie. So I feel like that was a sincere the end. Like, if this does well, maybe we'll do something more, but probably not.
That sounds plausible. I think I would accept that and take it over. I hate the ending because I like it when they do what is it? What was the name of that show? The one with the fucking family Arrested Development. They knew halfway through the third season they were getting canceled, so they started making jokes in the show about getting canceled. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that, like, breaking the fourth wall stuff. So, I mean, I kind of like the idea that he was like, fuck it, the end? Maybe?
Perhaps.
Well, hello, OG Butt Stuff. That is one of my favorite things is OG Butt Stuff. How are you today?
OG Butt Stuff.
All right. Katie, what else do you have for spits?
My main thing that I don't like about this movie is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre aspects of it. I don't like. Why are you looking at me like that? We had a whole ass episode about Texas Chainsaw.
Listen, hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. But this reminds me of what we just experienced, where Jaxpo was like, "My favorite match of the week was the Battle Royal on AEW," and then immediately afterwards, Allison's like, "The worst match of the week was the Battle Royal on AEW." Reeks out here like, as your advocate, I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and immediately after, you were like, "Fuck the Texas Chainsaw Massacre." Crazy. We did find out Katie prefers Texas Dildo Masquerade, so
I did say that. I don't know if that was ever live or anything, but yeah, that was a thing. So the skinning people, I don't like it. It grosses me out to like a high degree, and I can't stand it. And the fact that was like Otis's thing, and like wearing the dad's face. No. I don't like it. And like that abandoned ass like farmhouse in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and a family that's all demented and crazy. I just don't. I can't get into it. I tried to like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I did. I can't do it.
Would you like to rebuttal, Reek?
Go ahead.
All right, this is the thing. It's not. I from that perspective of it, I can kind of understand because it is grotesque. But I mean, my thing is, as far as this movie, it's the parallels to the original movie specifically. Not so much what they do, but the fact that it's real reminiscent of that OG movie. Okay, it gets you a little squeamish. It is what it is. I'm not tripping off of that. But I just like the slander. The slander is terrible. But
We did a whole episode where I slandered the series. Like, what do you mean?
and I still don't accept it. But I understand.
Listen, I sat through all the movies. I tried to understand. I tried to see the different perspectives from it. Texas Chainsaw just ain't for me.
Okay. All right.
That is fair. The Rack's only spit that has not been mentioned, to close out the spits portion of the House of a Thousand Corpses, is the fact that the Rack at one point during the movie felt like he was watching botch spots and chair shots when Yellow Shoe Guy was still a co-host. And that would have been when Grandpa was telling the jokes on stage.
Yeah.
That only Jerry found funny.
Shocker.
Also, Baby's entire performance during that was kind of awkward and weird. And I understand, like, it led up to her sitting on his lap and then Mary getting mad and conflict. And then things really picked up after that. But just like that whole weird old-timey dance routine Baby did, and then the fucked up jokes that Grandpa was telling, the fact that they got invited to dinner and then had to sit through a show without consent was a little awkward and fucked up. So yeah, there is that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so who got off, right? That is the question. Little Dick Wick and his friend botched the robbery that ends up in both of them getting shot. We talked about it. Captain Spaulding shot Little Dick Wick in the head, and then also the dude shot the ceiling and the stuff fell on his head, and then Captain Spaulding's buddy outside, the sign waver, comes and cleaves him, and then he steps on his chest and makes him cough up the blood, shoots him too. The Rugsville cheerleaders, all of them, all of the cheerleaders from Rugsville, apparently in Baby's bedroom, strung up in the shed, in Tiny's room, all dead in various ways. I feel bad for the ones that got stuck with Tiny because I hear he is not so. Bill, as you said, smashed in the head and then turned into Fish Boy. The sheriff, Denise's dad, and Walter Goggins all get shot. The sheriff, whose brother we are going to talk about very soon, gets shot by Mother Firefly. Denise's dad and the deputy gets shot by Otis. And then Denise's dad gets his face carved off. And he gets turned into a mask that is then used by Otis as he comes downstairs. And, like, it wasn't just the mask. Like, he took his chest, like his torso and everything. Like, he revealed like a whole human bodysuit. It was very interesting. Katie loved it. With her favorite thing. Karen Murphy, carved up and tied up in the trunk of a car. We got her name when they opened it up. I thought that was Denise. Apparently, it was not. Jerry gets scalped because he can't answer trivia. Fair. Used as a dartboard for throwing knives. Tortured. Captured by cave people. And then operated on by Dr. Satan. Jerry had a bad time, but that's what Jerry gets for being stupid.
That's
like,
karma.
I agree. I felt nothing for him getting his ass cooked for the whole movie.
Mary gets pounced on by Baby and stabbed to death because Mary wouldn't let Baby fuck her boyfriend. So, like, that's on her, you know? Like, if you weren't into a threesome, just say that. And then Denise, as we said, gets chased by Tiny's dad, only to escape and be picked up by Captain Spaulding. Otis is in the back seat, and then we know she gets killed, dragged down into the hole, and operated also on by Dr. Satan, who is chilling underneath the house in the catacombs and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am fairly certain that the big dude with the goggles and all that was Tiny's dad. I think they called what the fuck did they say? Ralph, I believe. Ralph
What?
went crazy. You don't remember when
Oh,
Mother Firefly?
But,
My husband Ralph went crazy.
yeah.
but there's no way that motherfucker. Well, I guess it would make sense because of the sun. Because like, there's no way that motherfucker's human. Like,
Well, he got operated on by Dr. Satan. Nothing down there was human.
I guess.
So I am actually fairly surprised, right? Because a lot of you guys said that House of a Thousand Corpses was your favorite of the trilogy. And up next is what I thought was everyone's favorite, which is The Devil's Rejects. You guys are all wrestling podcasters. So I'm going to start off with my swallows. And first and motherfucking foremost is Diamond Dallas Page and the world's tallest, smallest man, Danny Trejo. This movie also had a very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque feel to the opening with the news reports about them. We had boobs and bush, ladies and gentlemen. We got the twofer. Also, something I found interesting that I feel Will would really appreciate. We had a double turn for you wrestling fans.
Oh,
so
boy.
The movie started off where Otis and Baby and Captain Spaulding were absolutely terrible human beings. And Sheriff John Quincy Waddell was the hero, the avenging hero. And I don't know about y'all, but by the end of the movie, they had shown just enough humanity in the Devil's Rejects and just enough evil. I said it on Botch Spots and Chair Shots. No man is ever truly good. No man is ever truly evil, right? I felt like by the end of the movie, we were all rooting for Baby and Otis and Captain Spaulding, and we were all ready for John Quincy Waddell to get murdered. Double turn in a movie in like 2 hours, an hour and a half. It was amazing.
Hour and a half.
They did it.
They did. And that is not easy to pull off in a movie like this, especially with as awful as they were in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like they made them all the way bad and then brought you back around.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ginger Lynn had a cameo. For those of you who don't know, Ginger Lynn is a famous porn star from the 80s. She's like the Hulk Hogan of porn in the 80s.
Oh.
Minus the racism. At least I don't.
Okay.
I don't. You know what? Honestly, the Rack doesn't know if he's ever seen Ginger Lynn with a black guy, so maybe it is the racism. I don't know, but like fame-wise, Hulk Hogan of porn in the '80s. She is the one that was riding Captain Spaulding in his dream.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Also, I mentioned DDP and Danny Trejo, but for those of you who don't know, Tiny was played by Tyler Mane, who also played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloweens.
Yep.
And Kane Hodder was also a cameo in this movie.
What?
And I think he was like a stunt coordinator or something like that on the movie.
He may have been a stunt coordinator, but I'm pretty sure he played Rufus underneath all of the armor.
Yeah.
When they were shooting him up.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
See, that's why I did my spits first, so I could convince you why this is an awesome movie. And when I get to you, you could be like,
I didn't say it wasn't an awesome movie.
Dumb.
I didn't even get to fucking say anything about it yet.
I know, but I was just like, hey, listen, I'm gonna convince Katie, and she's gonna turn her whole thing around. But I think the rack is set enough, so I'm gonna save the rest of my swallows, let you guys get some shit out because I took a lot of fucking notes on this shit. Reek, what other swallows do you have?
Yeah, so I'm gonna piggyback off of that because the entire first, what was it, like 10 or so minutes was a complete, like, I feel like whoever made Texas Chainsaw 3D completely ripped off this opening because it's basically the same thing from both movies. You know, you get the flashback of, okay, this happened at this house, all these murders, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of cops are showing up, families in the house, getting armed up with all their weapons, shootout ensues. Technically, they kind of lost that one. They had to retreat, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we get the intro into the title card going forward and all that stuff. But that opening scene, again, I can't not love it. Well, never mind. That's a spit. I was gonna doing something different. But yeah, like just in general, the reason I say House of 1,000 Corpses was like my pick overall is because I felt like once we get into Devil's Rejects and beyond, I don't feel like we're talking about a horror movie no more. I feel like we're just like, maybe it's some thriller, maybe it's a Western or something like that. That's the vibes I got from here on out. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely swallowing DDP and Danny Trejo. I was about to say Machete because that's like his nickname at this point. Yeah, definitely swallowing that. The scene where they just pull up and just start blasting everybody where they at the I guess the brothel that they were at.
Brothel. It's a brothel.
Yeah, that whole scene, swallowing that. And the ending scene where they just like ride out like Thelma and Louise about to shoot shit up and then got it. Oh,
how the fuck? I've never seen that picture.
Damn.
Do you think you are privy to everything that Matt Ritter does?
I mean, at this point, I feel like. Yeah.
I just want everyone to know
Yeah,
that
that
the
way.
ugly person on the left is about 5'8", so that will tell you how tall Danny Trejo is.
That's crazy because I always thought he was tall.
The biggest little man in movies.
Yeah, so the closing scene definitely, and a lot of people kind of shit on the mom because she was played by a different actress or whatever. I thought it was pretty good. I really did.
Okay, so on that note, one of the things the Rack has written down, or Matt Ritter has written down in his notes, I personally actually preferred Leslie Easterbrook to Karen Black as Mother Firefly. Her performance in this movie was less campy, more evil, evil mother, sadistic.
Yeah.
Yes, no, less like flirty, seductress, murderer. But it still had a little bit of that, like, I'm kind of an old whore in there, which I appreciate. I preferred it. As an old whore myself, I sympathize. So, yes, no, I preferred Leslie Easterbrook to Karen Black personally.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like the first movie, she was all like, groupie mom, and it was a little bit of that, but not, not totally as much. I'm definitely swallowing the sheriff, and specifically that descent into madness because he's having the flashbacks, seeing his brother and stuff like that, and it's like you just see him change. Like one point he's just like, we're gonna get these motherfuckers, we're gonna put them away, we're gonna kill them, blah blah blah, and then it's like, nah, we can't do this the right way. It's like he wanted to do things the right way, and then it's just like that shift happens where it's like, nah, we can't do that. Like, they all gotta die, and so that's when he hired DDP and then Danny. Like, yeah, I need you to go figure out where they at so we can pull up on them. So yeah, that's what I got.
All right, Will, swallows. We're doing swallows. That's what we are doing. We are swallowing. That's what the Rack loves to do. That's what we are doing. Swallows.
You talked about the way the scripts were written in the first one. This movie has two of my favorite lines. When Captain Spaulding is hijacking the kid's car with his mom at the gas station towards the beginning. What's the matter, kid? Don't you think I'm fucking funny? Like that whole interaction, like about talking about coming back and like, if you don't give me a reason, I'm going to come back and kill your whole family. Like all of that. Otis, I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work. Like real simple to the direct lines. And this is one of those things where I think House of a Thousand Corpses is the cult classic because it was his first, but his writing got better as these three movies went along. Halloween is a different world in Rob Zombie because he was taking somebody else's story and kind of recreating it in his own words. This was stuff he was writing and creating from his own mind. And you can see the evolution of how he was telling the stories. I look at it and I'm a very green, as in like, I've only taken like one class in it and I've been making the documentary, but they talk about when you film things, your story arc, and they talk about a circle with 8 points. In the first movie, it was really chaotic in his storytelling. The second movie was a lot more direction. You saw where the apex was and the resolution and all of the key points in cinematography. And then by the third one, it's like he really fucking got it, you know? And like I said, having rewatched the third one now fresh, like my opinions on all three movies changed. I said something that made him take the glasses off. That's how you know he's serious.
Well, so I don't want to do this in the accent because I agree with a lot of what you said, but mostly it's the quotability of this movie. So you talked about, what's the matter, kid? Don't you like clowns? Don't you think I'm fucking funny? So the whole thing, he's like, excuse me, man, but I have some super important clown business that supersedes any plans you may have for this vehicle. And she goes, what's that about clown business? Did I stutter, bitch? Then you get to, as you said, I am the devil and I am here to do the devil's work. But on top of that, I have 3 more lines that I found extremely quotable. I think his name was Wydell too. Was he kin to you?
Yeah.
Tutti fucking fruity.
Also,
and last but not least, something I'm sure Will's heard in Tennessee. Now y'all ain't planning on fucking these chickens, are you?
Wow.
The entire chicken fucking scene and the clown business scene are probably my 2 favorite scenes in the movie that don't involve murder.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention this. A PJ Souls cameo. I'm always going to swallow that too.
Mm-hmm.
For obvious reasons.
What else you got, Will?
Well, first, I'm going to feel real fucked up with my next swallow because I know Rob Zombie and his musical influences. He's talked about it in interviews and stuff, how he takes influence from bluegrass music stylistically because of the way bluegrass is written and stuff. So the fact that the band was Banjo and Sullivan, I was like, that's cool that he would have a bluegrass band be the ones that everybody gets murdered. Like, I was like, that's a little like one of those, like Katie mentioned the Easter egg in the first movie. Like, this is a cool little Easter egg about like into Rob Zombie's life because he likes bluegrass music, which I wouldn't have taken him as a bluegrass fan. I also said this was, in my opinion, probably the best. I'd probably say the best written, but I think the third movie is the better movie, and we'll talk about why when we get there. And like Reek, I love a good shootout to end a movie. I think that the Bonnie and Clyde scene in the car was awesome. I love them historically in other movies. I think that's one of the redeeming factors about Boondock Saints, another cult classic, is that it ends in a huge shootout. And I think that's one of the things that I like about it is this one ended in the question of, okay, if they ended here, that would be fine. You know what I mean? Like, we're good. We don't need it. And I feel like whereas we had that little bit of a question in the first one, as the Rack so eloquently put it, that they didn't know. With this one, Rob Zombie said, if this is it, I'm okay with it.
The Rack wants to shout out Fact Flair, who is there. Listen, OG Butt Stuff, you are going to have to say something the Rack is going to be able to put on the screen. If you want to be put on the screen, it is what it is. No, I agree with everything that Will has said. Sorry that Matt got crass and insulted Tennessee. He is an asshole. I am not responsible for the things that he says, Will. That was offensive, and I'm sorry. Katie, what are your swallows from The Devil's Rejects?
So I also, ironically enough, did have the opening. I don't like Texas Chainsaw, but I do like the opening of those movies. And I have said that on record many a time. Jesus Christ. Don't put it up. No.
Who's that girl?
Putting that no.
Another one?
These are the best nights.
These are not the best nights.
They are. Another one?
Oh.
Listen, the Rack gets hit on by gentlemen all of the time, Katie. Every now and then we got to spread the love around, all right?
Oh. Fuck.
This is going to be fun.
This is going to be terrible. So the opening I liked. I did like the fact that you started with a shootout and you ended with a shootout. Very interesting. I got beef with the ending shootout that I'll talk about in the third movie. I put hella famous people. DDP, obviously, Danny Trejo. No one mentioned it. Tara Strong. who is one of the best voice actors of all time. Like, she's Timmy fucking Turner and countless other cartoons.
What to say? How you skip Tommy Pickles?
Well, I Tommy and countless others. She also very noticeable. Harley Quinn in some of the animated stuff. I also had the slow. I have demise, but that's not the word I wanted to put. Decline is the word I want to say, of Sheriff Wydell. It was kind of cool to see a man slowly go mad, because I think they portrayed it very well. And also, there's a lot of Johnny Cash references with him. I didn't write any of them down because I didn't remember to at the time, but I did put Johnny Cash references. I love Johnny Cash. I know Matt loves... I'm sorry. Well, I know Matt loves Johnny Cash. I don't know if The Rack also loves Johnny Cash. Maybe?
The Rack is indifferent to the Johnny Cash.
Okay.
The Johnny Cash.
The Rack has experienced the burning ring of fire once or twice, and I don't like you singing songs about it.
Well, I understand. But, I mean, yeah, like, overall, it's not a bad movie. There's just a big chunk of it that I do not like for a multitude of reasons that we'll get to.
Okay. So Matt has on his list that was not mentioned to close things out. The ice cream truck scene. Again, we talked about how we showed a little bit of humanity. Them wanting to stop for ice cream, putting a little ice cream on Otis's nose, tutti fucking fruity, like the family dynamic. I feel like that was the big turn where you're like, okay, like they're sick fucking monsters, but they're also kind of human. Everything the pimp Charlie Altamont. Charlie is probably, next to Captain Spaulding, my favorite character in the entire movie. Even when he snitched and turned them in, he came back to save them. He ran that whorehouse. He did not want weird space robots walking around his whorehouse, trying to fuck everything. Love me some Charlie. And then last but not least, you guys all kind of talked about it, but everything from the fight scene in Charlie's whorehouse to the fire at the Firefly house, including old boy stapling the pictures of the victims to the bodies and stuff of the Devil's Rejects. Oh, this is yours. You killed this one. Here, have it. That was a really cool fucking scene. Everything that happened from how they showed up in the fight and the fight that happened and then carting them off and him just getting sadistic with it. So I enjoyed all of that. Very few spits. Not a fan of Roy getting his entire family fucking killed because he had a hard-on for the first time without Blue Chew in years. The very uncomfortable scene with Otis and Gloria in front of Ray and the crew with the gun and the blowjob. That even made the Rack kind of wince a little bit. Also, we talked about in the pre-show, we asked like the question, what is the difference between a genealogist and a gynecologist? I need someone to look up this family tree because I don't understand who is related to who and how. Like, is Captain Spaulding both Otis and Baby's father? Are they half brothers and sisters? Tiny had a different dad. Who is Rufus's dad? How many people has Mother Firefly slept with to have children? I need to see. Huh?
You're frozen.
You're still talking. We still hear you, but
well, that is weird.
Visually,
yes,
visually, you are. Yeah.
Listen, at least it is a good picture of. Oh, there we go. Hey, look, I am back. All right, so
there you go.
Yeah. Is Mother Firefly everybody's mother? Are they all half siblings? I need to know because like Baby calls Captain. Why am I doing this anyway? Baby calls Captain Spaulding, Daddy.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's father and mother and so on and so forth, except we know who Tiny's dad was. And then the chase scene with Baby, it smells like rabbit. How it kind of paralleled. Oh, actually, that was a swallow. That wasn't a spit. I don't know why I put it in spits. But when Sheriff Wydell was chasing Baby and says it smells like rabbit, it kind of paralleled the chase scene with the rabbit stuff at the end of House of Thousand Corpses. That part I really did enjoy. So it was really just those three things, like genealogy, the scene in the hotel room, and then Roy getting his entire stinging crew murdered for a boner. So yes, Reek spits.
All right, so first one is a petty spit. But we lost the clown makeup like halfway through the movie. Wasn't cool with that. Thought we was gonna keep it the whole way. But that's just for me. The chick who got strung up on the door with the face mask of the husband. Like, this is utter stupidity. I get it. You're traumatized and you know went through a lot. Take the damn face mask off of your face. You're not cuffed. You're not tied up. Take the thing off so you can see where you're going. Because this is running aimlessly. So you got hit by a car, like, or not car, bus, like just
truck
steamrolled out here. Yeah, that was bad. That was, but could have easily been avoided. They killed Mama. I thought Mama was gonna make it. So
Mama did not make
look, yeah, I thought she was gonna make it because, like I said, I was they were hooking me, and then my guy flew off the deep end and said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna stab you now." What else did I have? I didn't like that Charlie snitched. That is, you might forgive it. I'm not. He redeemed himself, sure, but I got a thing about snitching. I don't.
Listen, Reek. Here's the thing. This man was about his motherfucking money, and he was not gonna let that. Listen, he didn't ask for them to show up at his door and involve him in this bullshit. He was just trying to run his business. They came to him, and it was them or my money. And 9 times out of 10, it is gonna be my money.
I mean, that's fair. I hate that they swayed me with the whole, you know, we're supposed to hate them, but you know, in the end, it's like you kind of don't want to see them lose. It's like I hate that they got me like that, because especially like we said in the beginning, because that's another spit, all the rapey shit going on. When we go from there to now to the end, it's like I hate it. They get me. But that, and my last one is Tiny dies, because he's like the only one as far as we know that's like not completely screwed up. I mean, outside of him being tall and deformed looking and all this other shit, he seems like the only one that's like not completely screwed up. And he saves them in the end, but then he goes into the burning building and blows up. That kind of stuff.
He was dragging a naked dead body through the woods in the beginning of the movie, and in the last movie, he also had dead naked girls in like a ball pit in his closet. So,
but I don't know that he did kill them, like, because he's not there. You know what I'm saying? I think of him as like, you know, he's just that guy that, you know, he's like Leatherface. Like, he just gets told what to do and he just does it, and just, you know, kind of like, oh, well, okay, there's a dead body. I guess I gotta get rid of you. You know, like, I'm not saying I'm giving shit a pass. I'm just saying it's like he don't seem like he's conscious there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's how I felt justifying Otis as a person, just so you know.
Okay.
I also spit Tiny Dog.
Yeah, that
big time.
I wasn't happy about it. But that's all I got for space.
All right. Before we get into the rest of everyone's spits, ladies and gentlemen, even though you can barely see me because I keep freezing, I need to tell you about something very important. That is Patreon. Patreon.com/creationworld. There it is, right there. Go there. For $1 a month, you get 3 shows. You get Return to Wrestling with Matt and Travis. Episode just dropped today where they are talking 1998's Fall Brawl War Games with Ultimate Warrior and all sorts of weird, crazy shit. Some of it's good, some of it's awful. You get Multiverse with the Travises and the Maras where they talk about the DC animated movies and things. So if you like cartoons and you like superheroes and you like superhero cartoons and you prefer yours to not be of the Marvel persuasion, this show is for you. And last but not least, because he can't, just shut the fuck up every now and then, that idiot Matt Ritter does another show with his beautiful wife and her best friend who joined them this month called If You Have to Ask, where they read Am I the Asshole? Post spoiler alert, Matt Ritter is the asshole. And talk a little bit about their relationships and lives and things. This one, I believe, is called Dead Dicks and Hate Craps. So if you want to know what that's about, go check it out. Again, 3 shows, $1 a month. But if you are watching this, there are other tiers that you can go subscribe to. There are other things that you can go do to show your support for us. And if you want to do that and you want to learn more about that, you should go click those tiers. One of them will get you this show ad-free, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to see this show ad-free, you need to go click that. But since you are watching us live, Travis is here to talk to you about health or some bullshit. I don't know. Just listen to what the fuck Travis has to say.
Happening,
All
y'all.
right.
I know we're having a lot of fun right now, but I actually want to talk to you about something very important: your health. You see, life is full of twists and turns, and that's why having the right health insurance matters. I want to make sure you have the coverage you need without breaking the bank, and that starts with speaking to me for absolutely no charge. Having health insurance isn't just about doctor visits, though. It's about living a healthier, happier life. Physical health and mental well-being go hand in hand, and that's why the plans I represent cover not just the physical, but the mental aspects of your health as well. And here's the deal. I'm very good at what I do. So not only can I find you the perfect plan, but I might even be able to get you one for free. That's right, free advice and a free plan. Your health is too important to compromise. So let's chat, find the right plan, and ensure your well-being. Just visit health.creationworld.com today to schedule a free consultation. The link is right here in the description. That's health.creationworld.com. Your health, your future.
And listen, ladies and gentlemen, not just your health, your future, but I want to thank everyone who's joining us, whether you have been joining us live at twitch.tv/creationworld, where if you have Amazon Prime, apparently you can make that fuck your Twitch subscription, and then they have a baby, and that baby is a free subscription that you can give to your favorite Twitch streamer. It should be The Rack, but he is only allowed to come out every so often, so I guess you can give to Matt Ritter and hope The Rack shows up. Also, Katie, she likes subs. She loves subs. Subs are her favorite thing. Just so anyone in the chat that is listening has any questions about that, Katie loves subs. Go sub to Katie at the She Leads Showcase. Or Bot Spots and Chair Shots, Rivet City Radio. They do a thing where they take subs and they have a lot of cool shit. Go do them. Actually, do either of them before you do Matt Ritter. But if you're going to do somebody, I guess do Matt Ritter. Also, you guys can go over to youtube.com/creationworld, where it is free to like, to subscribe, to comment. Will, what does that do?
It boosts the algorithm and it helps find new listeners.
And Katie, Matt Ritter says that it's important to him because he wants to be me, but he is not me. We all know who I am. Who am I? You have to unmute yourself so everyone could hear you say what I am.
Shit, I really didn't realize I wasn't unmuted. That's awkward. Yeah, you're a whore, so.
That is correct. The Rack is a whore, ladies and gentlemen. The Rack is more of a whore than Matt Ritter will ever be. But Matt Ritter is a whore for your likes, for your comments, for your subscriptions, for your entertainment. The Rack is just a whore for attention and body parts. Very different scenarios. So go like, go subscribe, go comment, do all of those things. Ignore the fact that the Rack is still frozen. I don't know why it is doing this. Apparently my camera, got infected STD-wise from Reeks because his has been acting fine, as it doesn't normally. It always glitches out. So gonna have to smack that bitch up. Not Reek, the camera. Anyway.
It's new.
Do all of the things, like the subscribes, the comments, flick the bean, the notification bell, get notified when we go live Monday through Fridays. But they're not live Monday through Fridays. They're only live on Fridays. Listen, the Rack doesn't do this shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I guess go Fridays at lunchtime, whenever it is for you. Noon on Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Smacking a Raw. I guess you guys moved an hour up, right? 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's the thing. And then we did this show at 10 p.m. So I guess that's the thing now too. I guess we bumped this up an hour. All of those things. Listen, go to creationworld.com. You'll find all the links to everything. And then you can just like and subscribe everything. And if you do that and you get notified, then you know where the fuck to come and what to do. Back to the show. Because now I did the shit that Travis gets mad at me if I don't do. So we can shut the fuck up. Katie Spitz.
Did Will give all of his?
No.
Oh, Will did not. I thought Will had given all his. Okay, Will Spitz.
Mine are short and sweet because I really liked this movie from beginning to end for the most part, and they're both kind of like silly little spits. Like there's two jobs that you really don't want in the Rob Zombie universe, and that's to be a hotel maid, because they always like to be very Charles Manson-esque with the walls. They always make a scene and it's artsy. I'll say that. It happened in this one, and it happens in the third one. And you also don't ever want to be cast as an extra and see that you have to go to an ice machine or a vending machine, because you know if you're going to have to go to either of those places, you're good as dead. And the Rob Zombie like horror verse, this is the equivalent of hearing a bump in the night and being like, I'll go investigate. Like, yeah, dude, you're good as dead. Like, if you're in a Rob Zombie movie and you're like, I need to go get some ice or a soda real quick, like, bro, you're out. Done. So two little silly spits are you don't ever want to be cast as an extra in a zombie movie, a Rob Zombie specifically, and you don't want to be a hotel maid.
That is true. That is true. I agree. Katie Spitz.
Before I get to like my big one, I'm spitting that movie critic guy who like came in and like figured out the connection between like the nicknames and everything like that. He was very annoying, very like strung out on a multitude of drugs, probably. It was just I get it to like understand why they picked the nicknames or whatever, but I just thought that was kind of useless, and he was useless as a person.
He reminded me of wrestling fans with the tribalism. He was very much like, I love my shit, fuck your shit. And then the dude, I guess we'll say Sheriff Wydell was a WWE fan. We'll say that. He's like, don't you goddamn ever say a bad word about Elvis Aaron Presley. Is that what his name is? Yeah, that
Elvis Aaron.
You know, because he's like, oh, they stole my, like, he sounded like Tony Khan on the NFL Network with a neck brace on, talking shit. That's what he sounded like, and he got shut the fuck down. So that's what he reminded me of.
That sounded very Matt Ritter of you, Rack.
What? I'm sorry. Listen, sometimes he bleeds out a little bit. I try and keep him inside.
It's like Hulk in Endgame, where he finally figures out how to be like the strong. Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, that's cool. Yeah, fuck Groucho.
What's your big one, Katie?
It's the entire hotel motel scenes, plural, all of them. I've never been a fan of that shit in movies. I don't like it. I mean, if the Rack winced a little bit, you know it's fucked up. It was just too much for me, and like at that point, it kind of just like took me out until we got to Sheriff Wydell losing his ever-loving mind. Like that whole everything about that, Otis being extremely fucked up, baby, just everything she was doing. No, it took me out completely, and I was like, I want to be done with this movie now. I am over it. I can't watch this shit anymore.
But the question is,
what?
Were you rooting for them by the end of the movie despite that?
Baby and Captain Spaulding, yes. Otis, not really. Otis, kind of in the third one, but
that's what I'm saying. Like the evolution. The first one you hated him. The second one you were like, oh shit, okay, he's starting to win me over. And then by the third one, you're like, all this motherfucker wants to do is party and kill people. Like you can't hate on him from, living out his life's dream.
By the way, the Rack figured out what was wrong with the camera. Apparently, he cannot manage the stream in Twitch while also trying to move around on the camera here, because as soon as I shut that shit down, when I realized nobody was going to be disrespectful to my bestie and I didn't have to boot them the fuck out, then we were good. So, yeah, you can see me moving now. I fixed it. I apologize. Listen, I got your back, Katie. Even though you pretend like you don't like me, I'm not going to let anyone, say some fucked up shit to you in the chat without handling business around here. All right. Kills, right? That's what we're all here for. That's what we love horror movies for. Who died, right? Dead naked body. Tiny is dragging through the woods. Don't know how she died, but she is dead as a fucking doornail. Rufus shot by cops in the shootout, even though he had like the generic Iron Man armor from the first movie when he got out of the cave. Shit ton of cops died in the shootout. Good Samaritan, woman that worked at the diner that stopped to check on baby, got stabbed to fucking death and had her car stolen during what I called the Midnight Riders scene, because that's what was playing when it happened. Jimmy gets shot in the head in the motel room on the floor, just walked in. Poor dude. I can't remember his name, but he is famous. The guitar hand. Brian, I think it's Brian something.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
Brian. Oh, what the fuck? As soon as you started to say it.
Yeah.
Brian Posehn.
Yeah, there you go. Very famous. Name was Jimmy. He got shot. Just walked into a room like, hey, I'm back. I got some snacks. And then boom, dead. Gloria catches the hunting knife to the heart after stealing an unloaded gun. That was dumb. Also, she was topless when that happened. So like knife and titty. Roy gets his brains bashed in because he thought that him and the other dude could overtake Otis. Terrible idea. Adam gets shot in the neck trying to mutiny and then had his face carved off and then thrown on his girlfriend. Wendy gets hit by a truck while escaping the motel wearing her husband's face as a mask. Mother Firefly stabbed in the jail cell as if she was getting fucked by Mr. Wydell because apparently he uses the knife as an extension of his penis. Candy and Casey, the two whores, both get killed. Casey gets her throat slit. Candy gets shot in the whorehouse. Charlie tries to save everyone after betraying them and gets hacked up with an axe. Sheriff Wydell gets his neck broken by Tiny while strangling baby. Tiny goes back into the burning house because he's like, fuck it. Listen, I know Reek didn't like it. It was poetic, right? We heard the story about how his dad tried to burn the house down with him in it, and that's how he ended up looking all fucked up. And then he goes out in the burning house as it burns down.
Yeah.
Still ain't right, man.
And then obviously there was the ending shootout where everyone got shot up, but I don't know that anyone died except for a couple of cops. Any more thoughts before we move on from the Devil's Rejects?
No, I'm good.
All right then. 3 from Hell. I will be back before he finishes because I always come back before Reek finishes, but I'm going to step away and let Reek do his swallows. And should I not make it back before he finishes, if he finishes early for once in his life, Will, then you just go next, okay?
Oh, man. So I actually got a good couple swallows from this. First, the very beginning, as they're like documenting as they got arrested and we're going through the trial and stuff like that. You have all these people that are like, talking like they're fans, like all these people like, oh, free the 3 and all this other stuff. That was kind of cool. Then Sid Haig signing off. He looked real sick and tired, but he's like, at least I'm sure he was like, just get me in there for however long, and just to be involved at some point. But that was cool. He gets to do one last ride before he was done. I'm skipping ahead, but Sherry going full blown Legolas, murking everybody with arrows, like that was dope. I can't lie. Like they sucked me in with that right away. The slow-mo where she was like chasing the chick outside, that was, and she's laughing and she's got the knife and shit like that. That was funny. That got some chuckles out of me too. Murked the shit out of her too. What else do I have on here? I know I had more for this. Oh,
He was not. By the way, he was not Cat Williams.
what? The prison scene where the PO tried to set up the 2 big scary chicks on Sherry, and she just like cut everybody up Scream style with the guts on the floor. And I'm gonna do this one just for Katie. The last face removal of this trilogy. Because it literally looked like a Leatherface face hanging onto that tree. Because I'm always gonna swallow homages, so gotta give it to that.
All right, so I'm listen, the rack's not gonna hold you. I did not love this movie. I've watched it 3 times. I'm not a huge fan of this. This is the least favorite of mine. So I don't have a lot of positives to say about it. So I'm gonna get some out of the way, especially because I want to beat Will to a point, because I had it in my notes and I know it's coming. First and foremost, I do enjoy the fact that they played off the cult-like following that they basically got in the last movie from the double turn. So like everybody we knew was rooting for them by the end of the movie and talking about, oh my God, like by the end of the movie, even though they were so horrible. And then as Reek said, like the cult-like following, everyone's like, yeah, no, free the 3, blah, 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 blah. Like, I love that they played off that. Cameo by Clint Howard as Mr. Baggy Britches, the clown. Shout out to Clint Howard, one of the ugliest men in movies and TV.
Yeah, you're right.
Not just boobs, but a lot of boobs. And not all of them were nice boobs, but all boobs are created equal, or not all boobs are created equal, but Rack loves them all. That is what I meant to say. And then last but not least, the Luchador Mafia and Hispanic Hornswoggle.
I swear to fucking God, I have both those things written down in my notes, Rack.
I listen. Again, the Rack is privy to things. I saw you come in the chat and mention, did we not all think this was Hornswoggle? I literally also went and looked up the IMDb to make sure I was not crazy, and then listed him as Hispanic Hornswoggle in my notes. So the Luchador Mafia and Hispanic Hornswoggle. Shout out. Will, go ahead.
I also have Luchador Mafia and Hispanic Hornswoggle. I'll knock those out. I will start at the top. Favorite movie of all time is Shawshank Redemption, and it's prison heist. This movie had 2 prison heists, so I was excited for that. Some of the one-liners and the quotes. After Otis has broken out, the conversation with him and Winslow and the argument as to who's Bogart, like who's the star. And that continues later when they're in Mexico and Baby's like, let's be fucking clear, I'm the star of this show. Like, and they continue that back and forth between them, like who's the bigger criminal. Like, and like, I loved that. The dialogue in this movie was great. I literally wrote down Reek. More face masks, more self-care.
There you go.
I said, Baby makes quick work of Greta's friends when she gets sent to the hole. And that very Michael, or like Halloween Kills-esque scene and like the sewer scene. Like I was like, that felt like a Halloween Kills moment. Swallowing Baby losing her mind. And finally using the bow and arrow, the luchadors. That's it. Those are all of mine. I've got quite a few like mine are my spits are just like.
Wait, we're not there yet. Hold on. Wait. Katie's got to do swallows, and then we'll get back to you for your spits. Don't let me Beauregard your time real quick. But incels may be hump free. The Rack is not. Katie, spit or swallow.
You mean my swallows? Not spiritual?
Yeah, just do the. You know what you are doing. Do not fuck with the Rack, bestie. Come on, I don't host all the time.
You fuck with me all the time. I feel like it's not fair. I do it.
I never fuck with you.
Bullshit.
I fuck with Reek because he is sexy as fuck. I do not fuck with you.
He does fuck with me.
Anyways, I just called them the cartel as a swallow. Same thing with Baby going all fucking Sacagawea with the hat, the bow and arrow, and everything like that.
Luchador Mafia.
No. Just let me say what I want to say. There's not a lot. Literally not a lot that I liked about this movie. But those are two of the big things. The prison heist things were interesting. I liked that. Baby really just like lost her goddamn mind. And just like she was crazy before, but now she's just like
The cat
crazy.
scene where she's meowing at the ballerina cat.
Yeah, and then she gets all depressed when the cat vanishes because it's not real. She's crazy. I did like that, but that's and the leader of the what are you calling it? The luchador.
The
Mafia?
Luchador Mafia, Katie.
I'm doing my best. The fact that they had like Danny Trejo's son be the leader and get, you know, his revenge or try to get his revenge for Otis killing Danny Trejo in the beginning.
Okay. So now I'm about to pretend I am Katie Kinsey talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. First spit, this movie in general. And here is why. Everyone was too old for this movie. They waited too long to make it. It was The Devil's Rejects without any of the charm of The Devil's Rejects. I didn't like this version of Baby. We leaned way too far into the crazy after pulling away from it in the last movie. We leaned way too heavy back into it, and it wasn't like the flirtatious, sexy crazy. It was just like, it almost felt like she was trying to be her mom in the second movie, but not hitting the mark. All right.
Okay.
Also, the fact that all three people survived after having a 1 to 1 million chance of surviving when they got shot. You can't tell me that there was a 1 to 1 million chance and 3 of them survived. It's what it is. I didn't like Winslow Foxworth Coltrane, ladies and gentlemen, because where the fuck was he the last 2 movies? I understand that we could not have Captain Spaulding because he was old and sick, and honestly, he died a few days after the movie was released. However, if that was the case, we could have just offed him and had Baby and Otis go. I didn't need. Also, this is the guy that tells like the weird jam and jelly joke in Halloween, and then gets his jaw fucked up by Michael Myers. Anyway, he's a coroner.
His
Rob
jaw,
Zombie,
he got his head removed.
Yeah, I did not. Didn't he have like a piece of glass sticking out of his face or something when the car crashed? Anyway,
he spat out blood. I don't know what he had in there.
Also, Sid Haig was fit, or we talked about Sid Haig being too old to do anything. So, like, they gave him the scene where he got to say his shit, and then they told us that he was executed. Satanic overkill. And this is for the whole franchise, right? Like, you have the Unholy 2, the Devil's Rejects, the 3 from Hell, the Black Satans. Like, I feel like we are jumping the shark with the satanic gimmick just a little bit too much. Like, not everyone has to be Satan or the devil or from hell in this. And then the biggest spit is the fact that this is the final movie. It is the send-off, and they fucking live.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Reek, your spits.
Okay.
If any.
No, I got a good couple. Since you mentioned it, everyone was too old, and a lot of this shit. That weird slow-mo with Sherry when she's coming out to do the parole hearing, like, I don't know what that was about. I think the dude's, what was the dude's name, Carlos or whatever, when they got down there. First off, if you go to another country, you don't just trust some old fuck who's sitting in the chair, you know, and he winds up being shiesty anyway. But yeah, gotta give him that one. What's his face that played the clown? Not spitting him. I'm actually
his name is Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
He is the ice cream man.
Yes. Yeah. I'm spitting the fact that Otis shot him in the head after he made him laugh, because he told him, if you make me laugh, you can live. It took him pissing himself, but he got to laugh, and he killed him anyway. Can't trust you. Not cool. Now, I don't know. I just know this isn't a swallow. I don't know if it's a gargle, if it's a spit. I don't know what it is. the sprinkling just the lady's ashes on the table, like
It's fucked up.
it is fucked up. But I don't know where to put it. I guess probably a spit, but I don't know because I was weirded out by it.
What was more fucked up? The scene inside the warden's home, which we weirdly transitioned to his wife being naked when they got back, or it was his friend's wife because like they were the only interracial couple in the 70s, and they were both hanging out in town. Or the hotel scene in Devil's Rejects. What was more uncomfortable?
Definitely Devil's Rejects scene.
Yeah.
Again, same movie without the charm. Continue.
Good point. Last one. They killed Sebastian. Little Hornswoggle. They killed him. Why? Why did we have to do that?
He didn't deserve that.
He didn't. He didn't.
He's a real one.
Okay. No, he did deserve that because he listen. Hold on. No, wait. Okay, hear me out. Right? What was the Luchador Mafia there to do?
They were there to
get revenge for the murder of dude's dad. And what did Little Hornswoggle do? Aid the murderers. Luchador Mafia was in the right? Like they as bad as the mafia is, they were in the right. And Little Hornswoggle chose his dick over the right. Because he thought baby was going to give it up. And she might have. We don't know.
I was about to say, you never know.
She was definitely going to.
Damn sure could have.
She also said that he reminded her of her fucked up, deformed brother. And as far as I know, there was a lot of necrophilia and cannibalism, but no incest. So who knows?
Well, we don't know.
You never want to hear you remind me of your brother. And when you do hear that, you tune the fuck out and be like, okay, this isn't going where I want it to go.
It doesn't make sense because he's like a third the size of her brother. I don't care. Like that's bull. You don't shoot the little people.
That's
half recommend.
Listen, at the end of the day, half recommend. At the end of the day, there was more of them than there were of the three of them. They still could have did it. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sherry had a bow and arrow. Y'all had guns.
Listen, Allison, as I said earlier, it is hard to contain Matt Ritter on the inside. He seeps out a little bit. His voice starts coming through. His opinions start coming through. He is a very strong, bullheaded, dumb motherfucker, and it is hard to contain him completely inside. The Rack tries, but it is difficult. All right. Who? I don't even know where the fuck we are anymore. Who's next? Who's got spit?
Will, maybe?
Okay, yes. Beautiful Jew, please.
Jesus.
Well, my notes say that Warden Harper, he makes terrible business decisions. He's the TK of horror movies because you never let the inmates run the asylum.
True.
I thought that was topical. I thought Matt might like that one. I'm not sure. The Rack looked like you exhaled out of your nose a little bit more than normal, so I'll take it.
Listen, the Rack was laughing. He squinted his face. He tucked his head. He nodded. No, that was good shit. Good job.
I said Bozo the Clown gets an A for effort for being the life of the party in a really shitty situation. But I spit sending Bozo straight to clown heaven. I agree with Reek that after making Otis laugh, he should have got out of there. I said there's no way Koki Khan got out of the prison with Barbie. So I spit that because I was like, come on, she's like the most sacred inmate in the entire prison, and all it took was him throwing her in an oversized prison guard's outfit, and they were able to walk right out of that bitch with no problem. Highly unlikely.
OG Butt Stuff would have loved Grandpa's stand-up because that is basically what he is doing in the comments right now.
Which is why none of it's going.
I gargled the random music video after the knife throwing scene in Mexico. It reminded me of the well, fuck. It reminded me of like a really shitty B-list Rob Zombie music video. And I spitting Sid Haig saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, that is fair. Katie, please unload.
Don't phrase it like that. I did have in these notes, no fucking way they survived 20 bullets each. What the fuck? Because ain't no fucking way. That's severely bullshit. There shouldn't have been a third movie, period, by the way. We didn't need this. At all. Just for the record. I didn't like Greta. I didn't like it. No. I've seen Orange is the New Black. She was definitely given prison guard vibes from that. And the biggest thing I had about this movie, besides the fact that it shouldn't have been made, period, it was so long. Like it was only like 20 minutes, I think, longer than Devil's Rejects, but it felt like a 3-hour long movie. I was not severely entertained. It was dragging on. It was like a few different movies kind of put into one. I didn't enjoy myself. I mean, the ending with them in Mexico, sure. I'll take that. That's fine. But everything else was, I didn't like it. It didn't need to be done. And yeah, like they survive in the end. Like, what the fuck is this? Just kill them. I don't care. End it. For the love of God.
This is why we are besties.
Fine, we're besties.
That's true. They could have like they still could have. They could have all killed each other and then just been like, yeah, you know, we took enough bullets to do the job this time. So
yeah, no, we, and yeah, like I just don't. No, I just hate the fact that. No, I hated this movie. I was not happy.
Okay. Well, let us talk about who died in this movie, because again, that is what we are all here for. The Captain Spaulding was executed. Rondo, which is the name of Danny Trejo from the last movie,
Yes.
he gets killed on a chain gang, which I didn't even know they still had those then, but I guess they did. After he is rescued by the Midnight Wolfman, after Otis is rescued by the Midnight Wolfman, there's a vigilante couple trying to capture Otis and Winslow. Dude gets shot by Otis with a shotgun to the face. A woman gets her face peeled off and then tied to a tree, which was Katie's favorite part of the movie. The two prison lesbians get shredded by Baby with a prison shank after Baby got set up by the prison guard to be killed. Did not work. We talked about Mr. Baggy Britches, shot in the head and sent straight to clown heaven. Greta got choked the fuck out by Baby in the warden's office during her escape with the warden. Not Matt Ritter. Not Matt Ritter, by the way. Male dinner guest. I don't know if we got his name, but the black dude at the dinner. Stabbed by Otis on the floor while already bleeding the fuck out from a shot to the belly. The female dinner guest, his white wife. I don't know if there was he was maybe related to the warden's wife, or maybe he married the warden's sister. Again, no family dynamic, no genealogy, no. It just feels weird that the only two interracial couples in town hang out together. Neither here nor there. Anyway, she gets stabbed naked on the lawn in front of everybody because she tried to run away and escape. Butt-ass naked, mind you. The warden's wife is shot in the neck by the warden on accident, then gets her throat slit by Winslow. The warden is shot by Otis. At the Halloween party, the cultural appropriation white guy in a mustache and sombrero gets killed by Baby near the motel vending machine. Mexican prostitutes shot up by Lucha Mafia. Various Lucha Mafia men with arrows and knives and guns from the three. We talked about, Baby with the bow and arrow and all of that. Carlos gets shot up by Otis in his El Camino. Carlos would be the old man that gave them a place to stay and then also ratted them out. Mm-hmm. Otis kills El Gigante in a machete fight. That was kind of cool. Nobody even mentioned El Gigante.
I didn't know what his name was.
It wasn't El Gigante, but he reminded me of El
I was about
Gigante.
to say, I didn't know that was.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he might have like passed away.
He did
Like,
in the
in real-
movie in a machete fight. You saw
There,
it.
you're right.
Hispanic Hornswoggle gets shot in the head for being stupid, and then Aquarius gets burned alive in a coffin at the end of the movie as the three escape. It was Aquarius, yes, same birth sign as Matt's little sister, Aquarius.
That's the craziest name.
I do have two questions. Well, it's really
Yes.
one put together. This is kind of a, if you look at it from Sebastian's point of view, this is a very good anti-drug slogan because this dude used to be a criminal. Now he works at this hotel. He's trying to clean up his life, and he uses drugs, and then everything goes to fucking shit in his life. So it's like, kids, don't do drugs because all of your friends will die. And I also feel like I was like, this was maybe one of, like, we haven't got there yet. We'll talk about which one was our favorites and stuff. But like, that was kind of the thing. His story arc went real fast. It was like you meet him, everything gets explained, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got tired of how I was basically just slipping out of the impression, the voice. So that's done and over with for now. But Will brought it up. Not just which was our favorite, but please, rank these movies 1 to 3.
Yeah, I'd probably in the regular order. House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell.
Okay. Will?
I'm gonna be the odd man out, and I'm okay with that. The Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell, House of 1,000 Corpses.
Okay. Katie?
I'm agreeing with Reek. House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Reject, 3 from Hell.
Okay. So something that if you guys watch Return to Wrestling, you know about me. My favorite wrestler from WCW was Diamond Dallas Page. And maybe it's a little bit biased because I got DDP in a horror movie. Maybe it's just because I thought that the movie was produced better, but not the order that Will went in, but close. So we're all a little different except for Reek and Katie. It's Devil's Rejects, House of 1,000 Corpses, and then 3 from Hell. And I feel like that's actually kind of surprising because I feel like House of 1,000 Corpses would seem more like my kind of a movie.
Mhm.
But again, I feel like what Will said, Devil's Rejects really built on what was kind of laid out in House of 1,000 Corpses. House of 1,000 Corpses was just a random mash together of like a slasher and supernatural and all sorts of crazy shit. This was more so like a straightforward revenge slasher, kind of like grindhouse film.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go Devil's Rejects, House of 1,000 Corpses, and then 3 from Hell. I like I said, I've watched it 3 times. I've given it. I don't hate it, but I don't really like 3 from Hell.
That's terrible.
I'm with Katie. I don't think they needed to make it, but I do appreciate that Will did and ranked it second over House of 1,000 Corpses. So
What I liked the most about it, I think Devil's Rejects had the best story and it was the best written. I wrote that down. And you said it best. Like watching House of 1,000 Corpses, you watch that for the same reason you watch other cult classic horror movies because of what it is. You watch The Devil's Rejects and 3 from Hell because of the way they're shot. You know what I mean? 3 from Hell, if you look at it from a cinematography perspective, the way the scenes peel, and I talked about it before, they do it in a sequence, so it gives you that feel like you're in there with it. And some of the cutaways and the way they zoom, and to me, I think it was his best shot and directed movie, but I don't think it was written as well as the other two, and that's where he lost it. Whereas in the first one, he took a whole lot of inspiration from the Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then in the second one, he kind of grew into his own with the story and went away from that. In the third one, I feel like he took all the best pieces and brought it together. Because, like Katie said, it was felt like 3 different movies put together, and that was like Rob Zombie's Frankenstein. That was the point of it. Because if you look at it, it could be the horror movie Shawshank Redemption.
I can see that. I personally feel like Rob Zombie has a little bit of an issue finishing a story. Halloween 2 ends terribly, even though it kind of starts off good after he builds on his remake of Halloween, which I personally enjoyed. Again, we did House of a Thousand Corpses, which I've grown to love more and more over time. Devil's Rejects, which I feel like is the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise. And then Three from Hell kind of falls short. Like, there is good aspects to it, but for me, he has a problem culminating his work, right?
Yeah.
But that is the Devil's Rejects trilogy. I think before we plug everything, there's only one way to end this show, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to have a good time, you take that chicken, you cut its head off, and then you stick it on the end of your dick, and you go, ah! Are you saying I would take a chicken, cut its head off, stick my dick in it, and go, ah? Are you calling me a chicken fucker? Well, listen, I'm not calling you a chicken fucker, but that boy there looks very sexually frustrated.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No,
Well
that was
done.
hilarious.
Devil's
done, sir.
Rejects is the most quotable of the franchise, in my opinion. There's so many good lines, so much good writing. I fucking loved it. But I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you had just tuned in now and that's all the fuck you heard, I apologize. Katie, tell everyone where they can find you and the things that you do.
There you go. Right way this time. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, KatieReston13. Link to about to all things She Showcase, twitch.tv/She Showcase, and youtube.com/She Showcase. Typically like 6:15-ish Eastern, because Savannah's always late and she says it. I can say it too. We just did this. I was just on Bosch Bots and Chair Shots. I wrote things on my Substack, which is in the link tree. You can go check that out. I'm going to do my Patreon thing tomorrow, finally. So that'll be out because that's a thing. So yeah, there you go.
All right. Will, Botch Spots, Chair Shots, Rivet City Radio.
You're absolutely right. That's it. Thank you, Greek. No, I'm just kidding. First and foremost, as always, Matt, I appreciate you allowing me to be the honorary use of Smacking It Raw and Getting Off, two of my favorite gigs every week, every other week when I have a chance to be here. If you're interested in my shenanigans elsewhere, if you find me anywhere on social media at The Will Gray, you'll also find my link tree at The Will Gray. With that, you'll get everything I do for Botch Spots and Chair Shots, Rivet City Radio, and my writing profiles for Last Word on Sports and the Sportster.
There you go. Reek, tell them about the show where you guys pretend wrestling is a sport.
Bazinga.
It's funny. Yeah. So you can find me everywhere at Recap24. You can find the show where wrestling is a sport everywhere at ykwrestling.com. You can find links to the show, all your merch. Got some on now. And of course, the Havoc Hour, which is, as Matt so affectionately puts it, the precursor for this show. Sports, entertainment, movies, everything. At the Havoc Hour, got the Instagram page and on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube, which is the most entertaining, of course.
And as always, you guys can hang around for the post show. But if you want to follow me on social medias, it is at Matt Ritter on Twitter. That is at MATTRIDDER for your wrestling content, at Getting Off, which is the name of this show, for your horror content, and everywhere else on socials. TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, at Smacking It Raw, which guys get you guys a little bit of everything. Go check out creationworld.com. It gets you links to everything Creation World, whether that's Smacking It Raw, Getting Off, the Creation Conversation, the shows that I mentioned on our Patreon, all of that good shit. For Miss Katie Kinsey Bay, the Will Gray, Dr. Reek Baker, BBC, because I'm not letting you get away without saying it, and our gracious host for this episode, The Rack. I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, and this has been your #1 horror movie podcast on places where you can find people having sex on Ginger Lynn's internet.
No.
Honestly, I meant to do the intro as The Rack and say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 wrestling podcast or horror movie podcast, where you can find people having sex on Mia Khalifa's internet. That was my plan, and I didn't do it. I forgot.
Christ.
Mia Khalifa. Okay.
So
That's
that was
on
fun,
brand.
though. I wish I could have held that accent. Is so hard to hold. As I just keep going, the more I talk, it slips. I know it
Struggling with
does. I apologize. Plus, I did it for botch spots, and then I did it here, so like it's been an all day thing.
Yeah,
right,
and that's the only reason that the Rack hosted, because it was due to popular demand via Bosch Spots and Chair Shots.
It was a good night. I had been promoting the show ahead of time. I made a video this morning. I had promoted it on Instagram through my stories and through my Instagram notes. So we had a fairly decent turnout for Botch Spots and Chair Shots, and they low-key went wild for the Rack. It was awesome.
So here, Reek, because you missed it, here's what happened. Will sent the invite to our group chat.
Yeah.
Kate needed some alone time. It's been a long weekend. She's just like, hey, go do your thing. Let me do my thing. I'm like, absolutely, baby. Have a good night. Enjoy your time. Find your peace. Relax. I'm like, fuck it. If Zoe's in bed and Kate's outside doing her thing, I'm going to come downstairs and just jump on the show because Will left an open invite. So I hop on. And not long of me just being on the show, Allison goes, I do always hide a little rack in the thumbnail whenever Katie's on the show. And I'm like, if you want the rack, the glasses are here. I can give you the rack. And then the rack showed up and fucked with everybody for the entire show. I asked them as the rack, I was like, listen, if you guys want the rack to host Getting Off tonight, let me know and the rack will host. And Katie was the only person to be like, fuck no, please don't do this. Everyone else cheered and came in. I had to repeatedly ask the chat to chill out. This is not my show. Please respect the hosts and stop cheering for me. Let them do their show.
The Rack is over as fuck in the Botch Boss and Chair Shots multiverse.
Yes.
Apparently.
As you should be.
I do have some arguments for you, Matt.
Okay.
Oh.
That I wrote down specifically because I didn't want to take up time on the show. I was like, we can do the bickering and the bantering after on the post show, right? One, you were like, I didn't like who Baby was because in the first one she was super crazy, and then in the second one she kind of let it go, and then in the third one she was like even more crazy than she was in the first one. And I wrote down 10 years in almost solitary confinement is a motherfucker. Like, that would drive almost anybody as crazier than you were before you lost everything in your life. She thought everybody she loved was dead and gone. And then she spent 10 years in solitary confinement. Then the first time she realizes somebody isn't dead is her brother writing her a note that the warden has to give her handwritten. Like, yeah, bitch is going to be a little bit crazy. Like...
Okay, so I guess I don't like her brand of crazy in that movie. So like, hey, when we did, because I just listened to 2 episodes ago, I finished Smaggin' Raw. You talked about Tatum Paxley and how so I look at straight up House of a Thousand Corpses, Baby is Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Devil's Rejects, Baby is Fire and Desire. I'd say more so, actually a fairly decent mix of Isla and Alba.
Okay.
Less supernatural, still on, less straight up supernatural. Shit's not floating or everything, but still a little bit witchy. And then Tatum Paxley is this movie, which her acting, I don't know if it was the age, I don't know if it was the other stuff she had done in between. I felt like we lost who Baby was going into this. And like I said, she felt more like she was trying to be more like the mom from the previous two movies than just being Baby.
This may be me stretching and reaching here and looking at it, but I think that's kind of the evolution of who Baby was supposed to become, though, because her mom was a person young and she was a fucking rock star and was going crazy and partying. And then the older she got, the more batshit crazy she became, to a point you remember right up until she was killed. Like, the mom at points seemed the most sane, but also the most complete batshit crazy in a family that included Captain Spaulding, Baby, and Otis. And then you look at Baby when she gets out of prison, 10 years in solitary confinement, everything she went through. And then the fact that she's got the genetics of, Norman Bates' mother. Like, she's got some fucked up genes there, Like, she's got some mommy and daddy issues that are higher than the Empire State Building.
But I don't think she did it well. I don't think Sherry Moon Zombie did it well. I get what they were
it's just
going
a technique thing for you. You just
Yes.
don't like how she was portrayed. Technical acting, you don't like the acting part of it.
That's what I meant. She was trying to be Leslie Easterbrook, but she wasn't hitting her mark. It wasn't that she was doing it. It was that she wasn't hitting for me as that character. She didn't feel like the mother of the clan at that point for me. But it felt like she was trying too hard.
Fair.
So.
No, I get it now. I think I misunderstood. I thought you just didn't like it. And I was like, I think it's a genius story. But I could get how the acting is never really great in zombie movies, though. It's like you and I talk about this when we talk about Bray Wyatt matches. You don't watch Wyatt matches because you want to see great wrestling. You watch Wyatt matches because of the stories. You don't watch Rob Zombie movies because you want to watch it because of great acting. You watch Rob Zombie movies because you want to watch it for the, the horrors and the gore.
Yeah, no, but I do feel like, especially in Devil's Rejects, everyone really played their parts perfectly for what they like. Yes, I'm not expecting a fucking Shakespearean play, top tier acting. I'm not expecting that from these movies. I'm not looking for, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise acting levels, right? However, for what the movie was and for what Rob Zombie portrayed, I feel like Devil's Rejects was the pinnacle of everyone really hitting their mark and getting into character. And then we waited too long and no one really, Otis to an extent, but even then, I feel like he had softened quite a bit, oddly enough, for as crazy and hardcore as he was, especially in the beginning of Devil's Rejects. I don't feel like he hit the mark quite in that movie. I don't like the character of Coltrane, the Midnight Wolfman. I didn't fuck with it the entire time. I kind of hated that this was they're like, oh, we can't have Captain Spaulding, so we're going to introduce this new character and say he's part of the family, even though we haven't seen him for 2 movies, or he's never been mentioned, or he's not part of the lore of the last 2 movies. We're going to introduce him. He's going to be very close to Otis and Baby. They're going to love him like he's been around the entire time because we killed off Tiny and we killed off Rufus, and now Captain Spaulding can't do it, so we need something. I don't think they needed something. Yes, he's the one that I feel like Otis could have escaped from jail without him. I really do. Like, I get it was a way to facilitate that, and it was to keep it 3 people, but it just didn't hit for me.
I love you, and I feel like I know you fairly well as a person, and I know you, when it comes to movies, you have a vast knowledge. You've seen movies that I've never seen. Like, when it comes to movie content, I would like to be on your level one day. But of all the motherfuckers in Hollywood you pick Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but it was in my head. Like, you were looking for
I went with A-list actors.
Fair. Okay.
Margot Robbie.
Because I'm thinking, like, were you looking for Eyes Wide Shut? Because,
dude, Eyes Wide Shut was a banger, bro. I'm a big Kubrick guy. I love Stanley Kubrick movies.
It was a good movie.
It was a Kubrick movie.
I went with A-list actors. That was all it was. We weren't getting A-list acting, right? Like, that's not what this is. But Do you have any other arguments? Because I want to talk about a couple getting off things before everyone's like, "Fuck it, I gotta go."
I did write down an agreement with you.
Okay.
The whole leaning into the devil thing, because in one scene they reference it like 6 times because they reference the devil's coming to kill him, and then Otis just repeats it. He like anchormans the line where he's like, "What do you mean the devil's here? Come on, I'm the devil." Like, and I was like, okay, that was cool, but it didn't get executed. You would want it to have been done in a different way for him to call back that line in just a blasé manner. I was like, okay, that kind of seemed cheesy just to use it there. So that
once
was
they called the Luchador Mafia the Black Satans, I was like, dude, come on. Like, does everything have to be? It doesn't have to. Anyway, so getting off. In 2 weeks, we have News and Rumors and Shit made Katie watch, which is going to be something that we all were kind of interested in the trailers. This is going to be Night of the Demons 2. Katie watched Night of the Demons 1. She didn't hate it.
I did not hate it.
Going to be Night of the Demons 2, I prefer, so we're going to do that. So anyone that wants to come join us here, you're more than welcome to. It's one movie you got to watch for Spits and Swallows on that, but it's Katie's News and Rumors show. It's the Katie Horror Showcase, part 2. I might just number it Katie Short Horror Showcase every other week and just keep running the numbers up on that. But
okay.
After that, and this is the important one. So we need to go in the chat. The 4 of us, Justin, Allison, and then maybe I'll reach out and see if anyone else wants to join. But it's going to be the panel episode. So in a month, which is what day?
The last Sunday in May.
Possibly.
Hold on. So 1, 2 is the
12th.
The 26th.
26th. Yeah.
So in a month, we have a month to work this out. I need as many people as possible available for the 26th so we can do the panel episode where we decide on a topic. Everyone picks one movie related on that topic. Then I want to do it quick so we have enough time to watch them depending on who's available on the 26th. But everyone picks one movie based on the topic. We watch them all, and then we just go through the movies and spit or swallow everyone's pick. Katie, what are the options for that?
There's a lot. So panel shows. We have Haunting, so just movies like that. Stephen King, foreign, least liked, remakes, underground/caves, comedy, shark, zombie, werewolves, vampires, exorcisms, home invasion, M. Night Shyamalan, and James Wan.
Which, like I said, so the idea is Katie can send the list. We can all pick something. I know what Will's vote is already, and it's zombies. But it's a general topic. Like, all right, give me your favorite zombie movie. Everyone picks their favorite movie about zombies. We watch them. Will's going to have us watch 28 Days Later. And then we discuss all these movies. The one I'm excited for is movies that we hate. So everyone picks their least favorite horror movie.
No.
So we can all get together and collectively possibly shit on the movies together. That one sounds exciting. But yeah, so that's the general idea. So that is something I kind of want to get in the works because we've got a month. It's going to be at the very least 3 or 4 movies, depending on who's available and who wants to come on for it. Yeah. And we're going to do one of those, I think, every other month or every month? No, every other month.
Every other month, I think is how we figured it out. Because next month is trivia. I think.
Yeah, the month after the panel episode is trivia.
Yeah.
So the way it'll fall is we will have next week, which is the first week of March, will be News and Rumors, and then the panel episode. And then the next month it'll be News and Rumors and then trivia. And then the next month it'll be News and Rumors and then it'll be another franchise. And then it'll be News and Rumors and then a panel episode. So, yeah. Every 2 months, I guess. Once a quarter, roughly, for just about everything. So
I think that's how you described it to me. It was once a quarter, yeah. When we sat here and tried to figure all this shit out.
Yeah, but okay. I know that trivia tentatively right now is Reek versus Will versus Tommy. So I've got a couple people like Joey from the Angle Podcast and Jay from Wrestling with Truth that are interested, and I might book for trivia as well. But I know Reek wants to be on because he needs to get his revenge for losing to Katie. Will wants to be on, so Katie and or Allison will be my Vanna White since Katie won and she's out until the championship episode at the end of the year. And then Tommy is just going to be the ever rotating. Can underdog? Can he do it?
Can he do it? Can he pull Cody Rhodes? Can he finish his story?
We'll figure that out. But yeah, panel episode should be a fun time. Something I'm kind of excited for. That me, Will, and Katie sat down and figured out one night bullshitting. So we got to figure that out.
Cool.
I'd say instead of me like sending the whole list, I was kind of just gonna pick like 3 and let you guys decide between them.
That'll work.
I'll make sure to include zombies. Well, don't worry. Zombies.
I just feel like okay, I'm gonna say this. We're in the midnight meat train portion of the show.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
This is going to be my Pornhub poppy hill that I die on. We're 33 episodes into this franchise. I'm not the Gail Weathers of the core 5. I'm one of the core 4 of getting offed.
You and
He's
Justin are gonna. All right.
I feel like if we pull the roster and we look at every episode and we put my ratio towards Justin's, I love Just, but I've been on more Get Yo episodes than he's been on getting offed episodes.
I've been quiet about it, but he's kind of right. Not even kind of, he is right.
He said, "I've been sitting back and watching," but
yeah,
I love Just. That's not me. That's at no means. This is like a Pornhub poppy race where there's no wrong answer. Picking between Katie and Vince. Hashtag, Vince.
wow,
I love you, Katie.
right here.
But I just respectfully, I think 33 episodes in, like
I can't argue that point. You will. That is a fair point. I will have to let Justin know he has been demoted to Gail Weathers and or Dewey.
Damn.
I mean, Gail's still alive. So, I mean.
Yeah, Gail's still alive.
What are we talking about? That franchise
As far as we know, Justin is too.
Justin is. No, I'm on. It's funny that you say that because I'm on Get You on Wednesday.
Well, maybe Justin could be the Sydney.
He's
Like-
that high dollar ticket we know. If we need
Misses
to
a
put
movie every here or there, just kind of pops in whenever needed, but isn't the main focus of the franchise anymore.
Okay. Well, because me and you,
Yeah.
this is our show. I made it a point.
It is.
Yeah, I got us Funkos on the screen.
Yeah, those are dope.
I do love, so for those of you who don't know, a little bit of inside baseball, even though I don't like baseball. So Katie had made it clear to me, she's like, this is our show. And the way she made it sound is everyone else is just a guest on the Matt and Katie show. So I made Funko for Katie because she said there will never be an episode of Getting Off that she will not be on with me. It will always be the two of us and then whoever else shows up. So I'm like, all right, fair. I got Vince as my official co-host. He's on so I'll give that to Katie. She's been here for all 33 episodes. And as soon as I drop those Funkos in the chat, Reek's like, hey, where's my Funko at? And I couldn't make one for Reek without making one for
Justin, yeah.
Because we were the core 4. Now I feel like I got to figure out who the fuck Will is and where I'm gonna stick him.
I'm a zombie Funko. Whenever I earn my Funko, but see, I feel like as the honorary Oos, the moment I get a Funko, I can't be like I'm the honorary Oos because now I'm a Funko. You know what I mean?
Now you're a Funko.
Now I'm a Funko.
Okay.
I mean,
But if you gave me one, I'd be a zombie Funko for sure.
The way to fit Will in is you have to just shrink us and put him on a side. That's what you have to do.
Or I just superimpose him over Justin and see if Justin notices.
I was about to say he could. If you really want to go all the way
That's
there
fucked
with
up.
You turn
so-
Justin's into a zombie, and it could be our inside joke.
Well, I was gonna say, so here's the thing, right? I'll have this for when it's the four of us with Justin. I'll have one for when it's the four of us with Will.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So depending
I
on
guess
who's on the
that's
show, depends on what Funkos show up.
That's cool.
I might have to make one where I put Will over Reek in case we get a Justin, Will, Matt, and Katie episode. You know? So
Thank you, InDesign.
Dang it.
I'll have to figure that out. But
That's how cute you are.
I do enjoy the Funkos, and I do like the layout, so everyone can see them.
Yeah.
I also like that it says Midnight Meat Train right across Reek and Katie.
No, I wasn't. I was ignoring it. But okay.
You know what, Reek? I got to give you credit. You handled the rack really well today. You really did.
I mean, I'm used to it at this point.
Even after the almond joy comment.
I'm used to him at this point.
Even I was like, "Whoa, can he say
Oh,
that?" Like, whoa.
I forgot that he didn't say that while we were doing stuff after Bot Spot. He just said it to me.
Well, no. So what I said to Katie. So Katie showed up before Will got here. I was getting ready. I was like throwing stuff away, cleaning up a little bit, and I told her, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck with Reek, and instead of spits or swallows, I'm just gonna ask. And I think that was during botch spots and chair shots after we closed out. I'm like, I'm just gonna ask Reek swallow and see if he catches it. And then I'm like, also, I stopped at the gas station and grabbed an almond joy, so I might just deep throat almond joys while he's talking.
Right. Oh man.
Terrible is what he is. He's so proud of himself down there. I think you said like the rack shows up like once a month. I feel like the rack hasn't shown up in a long time.
It's been a minute.
You missed
It has been a
Just
minute.
say it. Just say you missed him.
No, I would do no such thing. I was just
No, that's exactly what you're saying.
no.
You
No,
haven't seen him in a while, and you missed him.
No, because
Allow me-
Matt. Okay.
Allow me to correct myself. What I was trying to say, so I was going to say that the rack could be like podcasting's period where he shows up once a month, and for some people it's a terrible time.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I
I
don't
think
know. I've
that's-
never really had a bad experience with the rack.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a misconception.
I was fucking with Jack's boat today too.
I'm gonna clip it, Reek. It was perfect, and they were right on top of each other, so it's gonna be easy to do. Like me and Bo on episodes like tonight or the Anything Goes episodes where we don't have to do a whole lot of research or discussion. It's just kind of like farting around based on headlines and shit. Bo and I get ridiculously high, and it's always fun. And then you throw in the rack on top of it. It was just a shit show for 90 minutes in the best way.
Bo's sitting there really stoned, and Allison is going through news and rumors, and you just see Bo kind of like tilt his head, and it looks like his eyes are closed. So the Rex like, listen, Bo, I need you to wake the fuck up. Like, and as soon as I called him out, like his eyes popped open. He's like, I wasn't sleeping, and I just kept fucking with him throughout
Like
the show about how he's
5 times.
sleeping. I'm like, this is disrespectful to Allison. She is just reading the news and the rumors. Please stop fucking with her.
The news and the rumors.
Oh man,
It was awesome.
that sounds like fun.
Especially because when I showed up and Will's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I just missed Jack's Bo. And then I fuck with him the whole show.
Well, I mean, Will has a new best friend.
It's true.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
true.
when you came in and was like, I miss Jacksbo, that's when you started fucking with Jacksbo the whole time. I thought it was going to be you fucking with me the entire time with that. Like,
oh, no, I'm not rude like you. I
Jacksbo was my
wouldn't do
best
that.
friend.
No, I wouldn't do that
I'm
to you. I'm not rude like that.
you.
Good talk. Reek,
Good
while
talk.
I have you, in May on Sundays on the 5th, that means a week from today, we're doing our favorite B-list pay-per-views, meaning it can't be a big four.
Okay.
And then on the 19th, we're doing Anything Goes, which is one where we just fucking bullshit and have fun like what we did tonight, sort of. Do you want to come on for either of those?
The B list one sounds good. What time is it though?
It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
Yeah? Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
I did hear you guys say, specifically TC say, that some people say wrestling's not a sport, but it is. And I was like, I fixed it when we talked about it on, because like I was like, it's a TV show, but then you have indie wrestling. So, but indie wrestling is community theater if WWE is a TV show.
Yeah, it makes sense. I've always been like, I see both sides of it. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm right.
Stop riding the fence and pick a side, damn it.
Wow, that's crazy.
This is the IWC. We don't get to say we like everything around here. Either you're right or you're wrong. That's how it works.
But I like both. I'm allowed to like both.
Well, you're bisexual. That's different.
I was going to say,
very on par.
I'm pretty sure that's what you were just saying.
Exactly.
I want to make sure I don't. This is weird. It's late. But I just got done editing something and I've got a rough draft for it. And what I'm using the analogy for is indie wrestling is like watching a grunge or a punk rock show, whereas going to WWE is like going to fucking see the Rolling Stones or Zeppelin or somebody big, laser lights, extravagant show. And I used that analogy in the transitions. So it goes from this really gritty, like Alice in Chains style underground show transitions to this like GCW style mud show where it's like standing room only, people chanting and throwing like streamers into the ring, to like a style Led Zeppelin outdoor stadium show transitioning to a WWE style arena show. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Ooh. Okay.
Matt, did Pretty Cow message you by chance?
Oh, I didn't tell you. We talked about it. So he hit me up earlier today when I was driving around getting some stuff for Zoe. And he said, hey, are you still interested in doing a WCW episode? These are the dates that I had. And I said, I am. However, Katie and I talked and we had an idea. And the idea was we would both come on for a progress episode, knock that off our bucket list, and then we would battle it out to see who becomes the Apron Bump Grand Slam champion first, because I created something that didn't really exist and Katie tried to steal it from me. Then I said, she did. I said, this is what I want to do. And then Katie's like, no, I want to do that now. And I'm like, okay, first off, fuck you. You didn't even know this was a thing until I brought it up. But then I said, but I think it would be better if I got my WCW episode, Katie got a Ring of Honor episode, and we both do our finale of Progress and get it together.
So, because he messaged me too. And
he asked if you had done 1996 WWF, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck she's done.
Yeah, so I will be doing In Your House 12 for WWF, which I thought I've done WWF, but I guess not. So I'm doing that not until like June. And then I still need an ROH show. And then we both need Progress. And he was like, I love that this has become like a story. And I was like, I love that we've done this for your show. You're welcome.
Well, I'm going to throw, once again, I'm a competitive as fuck. I've done ECW and WWF already. So that means all I need is WCW and Ring of Honor.
No, it does not.
What?
Oh, there's a lot more.
He has WWF 96, WWF 2000s. He has WCW 96 right now, ECW 96, TNA 2000s, Progress Wrestling, and ROH.
Okay, so I'm further. Okay, I've done two of the 7. I thought I was further along than that. I thought there were only 5.
I did early WWF. We did a Royal Rumble from the 2000s, which he also wants to bring us back on to Smash or Pass another Rumble. Yep. I've done ECW a few times. I did a TNA show and I did a Ring of Honor show. So all I have left are Progress Wrestling and WCW. And the only reason I haven't done WCW is because I already had to go through 1996 WCW and I don't want to fucking go back. But I'll do it for the title, goddammit.
So I figured something else out about podcasts, and I think I'm okay with being this person. I'm the Benoit guy. Anytime somebody has to cover a pay-per-view that has like one of his matches on it, I feel like I did Royal Rumble 03 where he was in it. Like Reek was like, what the fuck is Will? I'm always on that line sometimes. I feel like where Reek's like, I'm not sure where this crazy motherfucker is gonna go with this.
that was really that, because I'm like, what do you mean by that, sir?
But I feel like it's happened. I just did another one with Mr. Fretz where it was him and Chris Jericho. And I was like, am I that guy where you guys specifically bring me on for his bangers because of, like I have a history of talking about it. I'm not afraid. I'm the king of art in person, right? Like I said it earlier tonight. I personally have no problem separating the two. But in certain cases, I choose if a person has yucked a few of the yums that I say, or you just don't do. If the person has done those things, I just 86 them. They get taken from my list.
It's funny you bring that up today of all days, because again, after having that conversation with Will, I'm in my car, I'm listening to music. This song by Korn called Harder comes on, and it sounds a lot like the Aleister Black theme song from NXT when it starts. So then I moved over to that, and while I was in there, I'm like, I still to this day believe Benoit had the greatest theme song of all time, and I don't care. Nobody's going to tell me I cannot listen to that song because the person that came out to it was a shitty person. And then I put it on and I cranked it all the way up on my way home and was just singing along to the song because it is a fucking banger, regardless of how awful the person that came out to it ended up being at the end of his life. It doesn't hurt the song, in my opinion. So I rocked out to Benoit on the day that Benoit's theme song on the day that you're having this conversation.
My argument about the whole thing, and I say this all the time when it comes to it, and it's topical for getting off, but you look at how people glorify serial killers. Gacy got the big documentary. We saw Evan whatever play Jeffrey Dahmer, and you saw how the women like simped over him playing that character. Like the amount, when I was getting my new glasses, I got a pair, and Al and a few other people said they were my murder glasses because they look like Dahmer glasses.
You got Dahmer glasses.
But
no.
Yeah, and and the person at the eye place was like, after the show came out, they went through the roof. I feel like if society can over glorify.
Hold on, pause for 1 second. This right now is the moment where Reek's like, I don't know where this crazy motherfucker's going to go with this. And continue.
I'm letting it play out.
If society can over glorify people like Jeffrey Dahmer, Charles Manson, John Wayne Gacy, how come the wrestling community isn't okay with saying the man's name and going, he did some really shitty shit, but he also may have been one of the best workers to ever do it? If we can dedicate millions of dollars from Netflix budget to make a documentary that over glorified somebody who is one of the most reckless, inhuman persons to ever walk this planet, to the point that women will over sexualize his character for what, and as bad as it is, like, I get it. They made it seem cool. There were parts in that documentary you were like, he was a fucking psychopath, but he meant well. Like, it's fucked up. They made him seem like a person. And I feel like if we can do that with Jeffrey Dahmer as a society, how come we as a wrestling community can't go, Chris Benoit, the person, did some really shitty stuff. Chris Benoit, the wrestler, was one of the best to ever do it. In the character, in the ring, coming through the curtain. That person and the man in the house were two different people.
Because the IWC, if you haven't noticed in the time that you've been here, are not in any way, shape, or form, in any capacity, rational. And when you start doing things like that, you get the extremists. You get the people who are going to freak the fuck out on you for even saying that and trying to dox you and call you all sorts of things. And then you're going to get the people who take it too far on the other end of it and embarrass all of us. And that is why you cannot do it. Because when you have these conversations, the weirdos like the women that are in the documentary that you're talking about come out of the fucking woodwork everywhere.
I've gotten hate mail, and I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to what's the word for it? Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you're right, blah, blah, blah. But I've had people that have messaged me and be like, I can't believe you've given airtime to the things you've given airtime to. I have an entire show that is a carbon copy without plagiarism of what Evan Husney does with Dark Side of the Ring.
Mhm.
We dive into the dark topics from the world of wrestling that nobody really wants to talk about. And it's the same fascination. Like Katie said, she loves her murder mysteries and stuff like that. I have that same fascination with the dark side of wrestling because having been inside the business, even for a short period of only 2 years, producing and shooting and helping put together wrestling shows, like I've seen some of this stuff firsthand, the drugs and the alcohol and the addiction and some of that stuff. So like, I'm fascinated by that side of the business.
And that's the thing. That is the, like, Katie with the documentaries, right? Having a curiosity about the events and what happened and wanting to learn and having that interest in that from an educational standpoint, like you get from something like Dark Side of the Ring, where they go in, they talk about it, they give you facts and interviews and things. Being able to do that is one thing. It's the people that then either glorify the person, where it can't just be, yes, he was a very talented wrestler. He did terrible things. He was a talented wrestler. It's the people that want to put him in the Hall of Fame, the people that want to pretend like he didn't do the things that he did. It's those fucking crazies that prevent a lot of the IWC from being able to have a conversation about this stuff in that manner.
I've already said there's some guys, pull people. Snuka should have never been in there. Hogan has question marks that need to be pulled. I've sworn by I've written about the fact that Carlos Colon, although he didn't have the knife in his hand, is the reason why Bruiser Brody was killed in 1986. I've written about it. Like, there are men in the Hall of Fame that have no right being in there. I don't think he needs to be in there per se, but I don't think there's any harm in talking. People will like blacklist his ring work, where they will cover pay-per-views and not even mention his match, or they will bring on somebody that they know are okay talking about him. I feel like, I'm not asking for him to get in the Hall of Fame by any means, but I'm like, there should be some give and take here a little bit, especially almost 20 years afterwards.
Yeah, and I don't just go ahead.
I've said that. Like, I've been unapologetic about it ever since I started with Young Kings. I'm like, listen, I take the Paul Heyman approach. As a wrestler, one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots. As a human being, yeah, not there at all. Fuck the guy. Because that's, at the end of the day, you still have two other people who would still be here today. But then that's where you separate. Like, I don't think he should go in the Hall of Fame. Because at the end of it's like you just said, there's people in there that shouldn't be, and that precedent is what gives these people that say he should go in the Hall of Fame the ammo. Like, oh, well, you got this person, you got that person. Yeah, that's already bad to begin with. But because of all of the negative attention, the backlash that will come with it, no, you don't do that. But at the same time, I would say, like, if you are showing highlights and there's Chris Benoit happens to be in the middle of it, I wouldn't necessarily black it out just because he's in it, because it's like you're not focusing on him. It's not like you're saying, oh, this is Chris Benoit's highlights. No, he just happened to be here. So I wouldn't block that out just because he's in it like they do now. So, and that part of the give and take, I could see that.
So we talk about him. He's been a big part of WCW through the entire run. We say, hey, he did shitty shit, but like, he didn't do it in 1996. I'm good with both sides. I understand someone like TC who doesn't want to give that kind of negative shit any sort of attention or airtime, who says the match didn't happen there was never a triple threat match. This was the last match on the card. Doesn't want to say his name, doesn't want to give any sort of press because of the negative aspect of it. I also understand people like Will, who's like, listen, he did terrible things. He was a terrible person. It doesn't change what, like, I've talked about this a few times. A few years ago, I was on Facebook and there were people talking about inducting Michael Vick into the Hall of Fame. And I said personally, knowing everything that he did, I don't want to see that. And I was attacked and called a racist and all sorts of things, and how, there are other people who have done worse things that are in the Hall of Fame. And because of that, I care more about dogs than humans and like all sorts of crazy shit, because I'm like, I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. And they're like, you don't want to see a black man work. And I'm like, that's not true. I'm not saying he should never have a job again. I'm just saying we shouldn't glorify and raise him up and ignore the terrible things he's done. Oh, well, he's paid for his crimes. He did his time, this and that. I'm like, he drowned dogs in a fucking pool and did all sorts of crazy fucked up shit. Like, it was just my personal opinion. I got attacked for it. I understand looking at his body of work and saying he was a great football player and being able to separate
left-handed quarterback to ever do it.
his talent from what he did.
Terrible things.
You can take that and say, yes, he was great, but he did terrible things. Should the great things that he did be rewarded despite the terrible things that he did? Like, should he be put in a Hall of Fame, and should we ignore that and give him? No, I personally don't believe so. Does that mean we can never talk about Michael Vick or Chris Benoit or anyone again and pretend like they
O.J. Simpson? God rest his soul.
Also don't
No
think so.
offense. I'm not trying to pick a scab right after it healed, but he's a walking example of that. Like, somebody made a video right after he passed. And again, I don't mean to disrespect any man's grave, but like, they showed video of him on NFL broadcast wearing the gloves that they later said didn't fit or whatever. And I'm like, call a spade here, guy. Like, this man got real fucking lucky. He had made his kids sign an NDA because he was so delirious and babbling. They were afraid he would confess to things on his deathbed. Again, not picking a scab. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but he's also in the NFL Hall of Fame, and he's all but admitted to unaliving two people.
I mean, he wrote a book that said, if I had done it, this is how I would have done it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Which is crazy. Crazy
Stupid
behavior.
motherfucker.
And then got arrested for stealing his own shit back.
Yeah.
Stupid is like,
You got off for murder and got arrested for theft of your own shit.
Spent the rest of his life in house arrest for stealing his own things.
I will forever, like, again, it's not to try to exonerate, nothing that happened, but I will forever be so disappointed in the man, because it's like, once you get off for murder as a black man in America, you ain't supposed to get in jail for nothing. You don't get arrested for nothing. You don't get a speeding ticket, nothing, a fine in the mail.
What is that from?
That's from whatchamacallit? Cat Williams.
Yes.
but that's why I'm saying it, because it's true. Like, you did the unthinkable, and then you continue to just give us all secondhand embarrassment in the community. It's just like, why, bro? Why?
Didn't he say it was better than winning the lottery? Like, you beat the odds.
But that's basically where I'm at. Is I respect both sides. I will go on a show and I will be like, all right, if you don't want to mention this person, if you don't want to give him airtime on your show, I'll say redacted. We'll pretend like that shit didn't happen. If I'm on your show and you want to talk about him, as long as it is in a respectful manner and we're not glorifying or praising the awful things that he does, or going overboard and saying we should ignore the awful things that he did because he was so great at doing it, then I can jump on that board too. I can say his name. I can talk about his matches as they happened, in that separate the art from the person for coverage of certain shit. So I can do both. And like I said, we do it. Like we disclaimer, hey, yeah, no, he sucked, blah, 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 this and that, but he's a huge part of this story. There was a whole thing in 96 going into 97 where like the main focus of WCW was Chris Benoit versus Kevin Sullivan. And it is a very hard thing to watch and cover with everything that happened, but it is like a huge part of WCW, as a main focal point story. It is impossible to cover everything that happened in that time period and not talk about the matches and the shit.
The best of 7 with Booker T. That was so important because they were building that mid card up so much.
Yes.
Yeah. And a banger fucking theme song.
For sure, just to wrap it all around.
I was gonna say, how do we even get on this conversation again?
Will.
I did, just keep kind of going with it. We did the first episode where it was like the cut and dry. This is what happened. 3 people passed, 1 had the decision, right? The second episode for him, part 2, was 100% the tinfoil hat moments. We had clips of the kid who edited the Wikipedia page, and it was the police footage from inside the interrogation room where he was just cracking jokes where he said he got information off of a Reddit post or whatever. And like, he put it up then, and he was like, it was all a joke. And then he was like, it was really fishy. We brought up the missing cell phone and the fact that his phone records were never recovered, who he called the day it happened. We pulled up his autopsy report with a 0.0 BAC. Yeah.
And that's where I sit. So that's kind of where I sit with this is like, you have the people who are just like, no, he was convicted. Essentially, even though it was post-mortem, he did it. It's terrible. It's awful. Fuck him. And then there's the making a murderer side of it. The docu-series side. The, hey, did he? What happened? Like, did this really happen? There's some inconsistencies. Could he be, whatever. Education-wise, absolutely fine. Regardless, in the end, horrible results.
That's what I always make it a point to let that know, because you're never going to change history. So always the Paul Heyman line: 3 people died, 1 person had the choice. And that's just as cut and dry as you can. And then you can expand off of it and have open dialogue. Like my buddy Mike, who's my co-host for After Dark, he stands on the hill that it was CTE induced, because when they did the autopsy and stuff on his brain, he had a brain of like a 96-year-old man from all the damage that was done to it. Yeah. So Mike stands on the hill that he finally hit that. They say when you get to that point with CTE and stuff, it's like a light switch. One day you can wake up and you're gone, and there's somebody else in your body now, and you just don't even realize it happened. And Mike was like, that was unfortunately that day for Chris. Like,
and we've seen in sports with CTE injuries, violent outbursts from these people with CTE.
They made a whole movie
not
about it.
To the extent necessarily of Benoit, but in and of things, these people that take shots to the head, that have multiple concussions, having violent outbursts and things like that from the damage done to their brain.
Yeah. It's science, man.
Which is not it is not an excuse, by the way. It is it is just a fact that for anyone listening, the 10 people that are watching right now, that is not an excuse. That is not saying, oh, well, he didn't do it. He did it. It's just a medical fact. Like, due to the brain injuries, violent outbursts are a common symptom. And unfortunately, again, had a terrible result from it. Like the worst possible outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Katie's very uncomfortable. We need to change the subject.
No, it's fine. We're good. I promise.
I have decided that I think when we get off here, I'm going to go watch Evil Dead 2013.
Why? Because you posted about it earlier today?
I did. And then, I did. Like, I talked about it, and then I was like, now I kind of want to watch it. I also kind of want to watch Evil Dead Rise again. As I was like looking for a GIF. As I was looking for one, like all the Evil Dead Rise ones were coming up, and I'm like, now I kind of want to watch both these movies again. So but absolutely best opening scene in any horror movie, in my personal opinion, because it sells the entire movie.
You got me and Reek into it, so you got us hooked by that scene alone.
True, very true.
And those 2 are way better than the first fucking 3.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
I do love the dynamic between you two, where you're both like, yes, Evil Dead 2013, Evil Dead Rise, fuck Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. But then Reek's over here like, yes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And Katie's like, no, fuck Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm just like, again, riding the fence here. Because here's my thing. And this is something that Katie and I may have to do at one point, if we can find the time.
Okay.
I've talked to you about this. Ash versus Evil Dead is amazing, and Ash versus Evil Dead cannot exist without the first 3 Evil Dead movies. And to me, how good that series was is it makes the other 3 movies a little bit better because you can see if Sam Raimi had the budget and the backing and a show to tell the story that he wanted to tell over time, where he was kind of going with the other movies and how good they could have been. It's like what Will said, where these 3 movies are kind of the foundation. And then we get to the series, and the series is like, okay, we've had this foundation. We've built it out. Hell, who didn't love Multiverse of Madness, right? Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. You did not love it.
No, I did.
Yeah. It's fucking Evil Dead, Reek.
It is. It definitely was.
We talked about this.
With a better budget.
And because Sam Raimi directed it, because if it was anybody else, it would not have looked like that.
Exactly. It's fucking Evil Dead with a better budget. And that's the thing. Like, these were independent films. He did what he could with what he had. Looking back on it now, it's kind of cheesy. It was a cult classic. And then the imagine watching Multiverse of Madness, but with all of the gore that you get from the new Evil Dead movies. And that is the Evil Dead franchise on Stars.
I was going to say it is on Stars. I might have to start checking that out.
Do we know how many horror movies set under the same production house? Is there any one horror company that owns like multiple franchises now? Like Blumhouse, maybe?
Well, Blumhouse and Lionsgate are kind of like merging into like one kind of entity, it seems like, for a lot of stuff.
Oh boy.
Who's the closest franchise or merging of franchises that has enough units? And see exactly where I'm going, Matt Ritter, because you made an episode about it. Who has the most franchises that could give us a multiverse of all their franchises together?
It's rough because like New Line Cinema had a good chunk of things.
Yeah.
And then what the fuck is it? Where Freddy and Jason were the reason why we were able to get Freddy and Jason, that production company that I'm blanking out on, that was run by Robert Shea.
I thought that was New.
Was that New Line? New Line had that, and then also I think the production company that had like the later Halloween movies also had like Scream and stuff. So,
Dimension. Not Dimension.
Yeah, Dimension.
That's it was Dimension. Yep.
Yeah, Dimension. So it's fairly divided. The problem now is I think New Line, if not New Line, then the family of Wes Craven owns the rights to the Freddy stuff. Victor, the guy who wrote the first Friday the 13th, owns the rights to the first Friday the 13th, and then the producer of the Friday the 13th films owns everything after that. So like that is muddied and divided and all of that. Like everything's kind of scattered, but I feel like Hellraiser and Halloween were under the same production company. Freddy and Jason were under the same production company. I don't remember where Chucky fell into that and who produced the Chucky films, but now obviously USA owns all of that. So NBC, Universal.
I just feel like with the multiverse being so popular, there has to be somebody that's going to give us one in a horror capacity. You have the mind for it.
I mean,
the more I learn about movies, we can make it happen.
He has part of something written. I've read it.
Yeah.
I can run cinematography. Matt can be the director. Reek can be the financier and be the person who runs the books, because the two of us aren't responsible enough to do it. And then Katie can be the executive producer for the project.
Hell yeah.
or she can write for me, because my issue is I can write down ideas and things like that, and I can picture it as if it was in a movie, but I don't do dialogue or any of like the actual.
See,
script
Katie and
stuff.
I could definitely knock the script out for you. That wouldn't be a problem. Al can do all the graphic design work. Like, we've got the team to put together a pretty decent horror movie.
We have a team.
Why am I seeing indie wrestling clips on my Twitter of a girl getting a staple to her vagina?
That's Versus.
Yeah.
I said that to TC. I sent that to TC before we got on.
I'll send it to you, Will.
I was like, yo, Versus is really tripping.
Yeah, and I know exactly who I don't know who the girl is, but I know who the guy is.
That's that's
yes.
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either, but like we've met him.
Yeah,
from Creation World. So
he runs the promotion.
Yeah, what the fuck is his name? He just responded to something I tweeted not that long ago too. Hold on. Also, I was looking it up. MGM had the rights to the first Chucky film and the remake only, and then Universal Pictures has sequels and television series only.
He stable gunned her in the snoo snoo.
Well, so I showed it to Kate, and Kate freaked out, and I'm like, if you watch, he angles the staple gun down. He doesn't actually.
The dude, Oldman Logan, the guy in the video who staple guns girl in the snoo snoo, apparently we're fucking mutuals. He and I follow each other.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool, people.
I clicked on the profile to see who the wrestlers were in the clip, and apparently me and the dude follow each other.
Wes, there we go. Yeah, no, he runs the promotion. TC knows him because like TC was shooting for Versus for a while, and so when we went out to Vegas, I think it was SummerSlam weekend, we all went to shows, and we all got to meet him back there.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah, it's cool.
I love indie wrestling, but I don't know how I feel about staple guns and vaginas.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I feel like that's reaching a point. I didn't like it when they did the syringe and the naughty bits. That was pushing it too far.
What?
Yeah, do you not know that story?
I don't think I want to know.
XPW did a whole ass spot where somebody pulled out a surgical needle and pierced somebody's wee-wee in a ring in an indie show.
Oh,
I feel like I just watched an indie show where some dude was butt-ass naked, cupping his balls, getting suplexed and shit in the middle of a ring.
I watched some dude
that was the Joey Janela clusterfuck.
I don't understand this.
I'm sorry, Katie. Finish. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. No, you're good. You're good.
Joey Janela's clusterfuck is an after hour. Think of it like an after hours like party for indie wrestling, where it's marketed as an adults only show because they're gonna do weird, fucked up, sportsy, entertainment-y type stuff. It's not. You're not gonna go to the clusterfuck for the pro wrestling matches. You're gonna go watch them do stupid, wild, ridiculous, outlandish stuff.
So it's Skinamax for pro wrestling.
Exactly. And people took that one clip from the clusterfuck and was like, what is sports entertainment or what is pro wrestling come on the indies? And I'm like, way to cherry pick like one spot out of like 9 days of beautiful independent wrestling. And you pick the one show that is intentionally made to be a clusterfuck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we know all about clusterfuck episodes.
I mean, you had Priscilla Kelly before she was Gigi Dolan out here pulling tampons on chicks.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what though? It hasn't really ruined it for me. It hasn't ruined it for me. Like she still is Gigi Dolan, and I still would.
I watched a dude in a ski mask jump off the second floor of a balcony, sitting in a plastic lawn chair through a dude on a table.
What in the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Here's your hot dog. Here's your handshake.
That sounds like something Darby would do.
Well, he's currently he got hit by a bus, so he's not.
Yeah, I know there's no fans of Darby here, but I was not all that polite about that news when we were.
I had a theory that I think you'll appreciate. Then I said that he's too big of a sissy to be like, I can't climb Everest. So instead, he keeps putting himself in these ridiculous scenarios where he ends up hurt. So he's like, oh, darn, I can't climb Everest.
See, we're almost there. We're almost there. Because
We also may have created a hashtag that is hashtag Darby Fears Everest.
Yeah.
that's good. But no, TC said something about the Everest thing, and I'm just like, listen, God's been trying to stall him out from death, and then he keeps trying to go to the upstairs room somehow, some way, because for people who've been to New York, you have to watch where you are walking at all times. And especially those buses are giant. So for you to have not seen that bus coming, I mean, I don't know if he was skateboarding through the street or what he was got going on, but
What's broken? There ain't no way he was skateboarding.
I
You've
don't. I
never
feel like
know
that
what-
wouldn't stop him. I feel like that wouldn't stop him.
I was going to
That's
say
true. I retract my statement.
he could fucking strap that broken foot to a skateboard and just roll around on it.
See what I'm saying?
Actually sounds like
And
fun. I would do
and that would make more sense as to why he got hit.
he got hit with broken foot and then broke his nose and then went to go see a Broadway show. Like, I don't even. He's not human.
We're
Like a
about to
rag
find
doll.
out.
Yeah.
I get it, though. I genuinely do. Like, you reach that point where you've done so much shit, you're like, I'm not dead yet. Let's see how far we can push it. I'm training for a 50-kilometer race in 4 months. Like, I kind of understand that feeling of, okay, we've seen what we can do. Now let's really see what we can do.
I still don't think he purposely got hit by the bus.
Oh, I mean, I didn't so much think he purposely got hit. I think he just was clueless.
No, he Georged the shit out of it. He just walked there and the bus was in the spot. That's a deep cut if anybody gets that reference.
No, I didn't.
What? Hold on. What is everyone doing up? Where the fuck were you guys when we were running the show? Why are there more people watching the Midnight Meat Train
Because
than
it's
they
all
were
on
the
Twitter.
actual
It's
coverage of the show?
90%
Because
on
you promoted it as the Midnight Meat Train, and now everybody wants to know what it is.
choo-choo.
Well, Reek, let them know.
Listen,
You-
I didn't
one
come
of
up with that
the
name.
beauties of the late night Twitch algorithm as well. If you get a lot of like going and chat going and everything like that this late, you can pull people in through the algorithm because there's not as many channels going. So
Yeah.
like during the subathon, we would get 10, 12, 15, 20 viewers at 3 o'clock in the morning because, you know, we'd be one of the only channels live.
Fair.
But
Well, I
it's-
hope you
it's
guys all enjoy the
genius. I
show and
love
come
it.
check out everything else.
Yeah. What's
That's-
up, guys?
that's why
Hit the
I did
follow
it.
button.
That's
yeah.
why he did it.
I tried watching Lisa Frankenstein back to getting to horror stuff. I could not get through the movie. It was not for me.
Really? I
Yeah.
heard good things about it.
No. I literally got to the point to where the fucking the Sprouse kid showed up, and I was like, this
Cool.
is not this is not a me movie. This is not doing it for me.
I will say, you will absolutely love Abigail when you go see it. It was so good.
I've got to finish Outlander and Fallout, and then I can start making Kate watch movies because she's dead determined to have me finish Outlander, and then I want to finish Fallout because we're halfway through it. So like, got to get that first season done. We get like one episode a week.
And they confirmed season 2 already.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't mentioned it since they came out, but the trailers for both Maxine and The Strangers look dope as fuck.
Yes.
We did watch Maxine's trailer, and Matt was hyped because it gave me everything I lost in Pearl from X.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she's a porn star now.
And that's all I asked for. To be back on is everything that I enjoyed about X you took away in Pearl, and now give it back to me. And I'll be back
like
on
the biggest thing too is I don't know. I saw the whole Bates Motel thing, so I don't know if like this is supposed to exist within that continuity or if they're just filming the movie. But I'm like, okay, you got me.
I want to say it is making movies, and it does take place in Hollywood. So I'm assuming that's a set thing, not a.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Either way, it works for me.
Yep.
Wait, and
Yeah,
the Night
for it.
Stalker too. Like, That's where you get me. That's the
Richard
true crime
Ramirez.
thriller shit. Yeah. That got me. So.
I'm in it.
But all right, guys, we are going to end it here. I got to go catch my wife before she goes to bed, and I heard her walking around. I don't know if she went back outside or if she's getting ready to go to sleep. But thank you, everyone, for watching us. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you tuned in late, you missed it. YouTube.com/CreationWorld, Twitch.tv/CreationWorld. Go watch the replay, catch the entire show, not just the post show. And if you like what the fuck we did here, like, follow, and subscribe. Go follow at Getting Offed. Go follow It's Creation World. Go follow me and all of our friends. Wreak Havoc 24, _Will_Gray, Katie Wrestling 13, wrestling, not wrestling. Yeah, we'd appreciate it. All right, guys, we're out.
Yeah.